What do you stream? Do you just stream YouTube like when you're live, or is it Instagram also?
Just YouTube. I think I need to have a higher upload to be able to do more, to do different ones. So we're live now. So yeah.
At this second.
Michael Farrell, welcome to the podcast. Boom, boom, boom.
Hello. You need an introduction music.
I know. You know, I've kicked that around if I should do that or not. Intro music. I don't know. I don't know if it's something I want to do, but
I totally think you should.
You think so?
Or something that's the standard, because then you get excited when you hear, like, listen to Joe Rogan, and you're like, the Joe Rogan Experience. You're like, oh,
yeah.
And it kind of hypes you up. It's like the hype man for you.
You know, I talked to Tim actually about writing a guitar riff for me, like a piece. Him and remember Jared that lived across the street.
Yeah,
they're both like really, really talented guitarists, and I talked to both of them about it. But Jared moved to New York, and
what if you don't like it?
Well, then I would tell him I don't like it.
Okay.
But I was telling him, like, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Kind of an upbeat, like a faster pace, like guitar, like a... yeah, I mean, like I don't know, something, man. Just something that sounds good, that's fast. You know, like kind of like, all right,
it's like
gets me ready for the show.
Remember, like, Seinfeld's that noise you used to use? Like...
Yeah,
like, those noises, you know, I don't ever hear those in any other. That when you would hear that noise, you knew it was Seinfeld.
Yeah, I mean that's the way you got to do it. I guess that's the whole point of it, right?
Man, that man's rich.
Oh, dude, stupid rich.
You know what I was thinking the other day? So we talked about this. If you won the lottery that was out here, that 1.3 billion that went off,
is that what it was?
The take home for that was like 670 million.
Is that all?
So. In perspective, I think Drake is worth. We just looked it up last night. Drake is worth 150 million. So if you got this lottery, and look at all the shit.
150 million.
If you won that lottery, you would be like 6 times, 5 times richer than Drake. And look at how Drake lives.
How does Drake live?
Have you seen his house?
Mm-mm. Why would I see Drake's house?
You never seen it like on Worldstar or Instagram or any? Never just. Pulled up on Snapchat the articles. Anyway, dude, he lives in a real live mansion,
like a spot.
And then not only that, he has like an Olympic-sized pool in his backyard, like this giant fuck-off pool that's like kind of built in. The way it's landscaped and everything, dude, it's the sickest shit ever.
Really?
It's so fucking cool. His bed is worth, dude, I looked that up the other day. What was it? Millions. His bed weighs almost a ton.
Oh, really?
Between the frame, the bed. Oh, I want to look at
that's kind of like
what Jamie, because the bed he's got is like 1 point something million, or it's like
that's crazy.
I can't remember what it is, but that's
like Shaq's bed. He had to have a custom one made because he's so huge.
I want to look it up. Damn it! But yeah,
I mean, I guess if you're a 100 millionaire, you're like, hey, this is the kind of bed I want. Like, I'm not gonna go buy one off the shelf. Why would I buy one out of the store? I can just go have one custom made.
Damn, that'd be cool.
That's a different world, man. It's a different world with different problems too, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I think that, I don't know what those problems are, but I can only imagine. I wonder if I'd rather have those problems and be rich or not be rich and have normal people problems. Probably still.
Well, imagine being Drake. You know, do you think he can walk around like normal?
No.
Anymore? That's why he has to have a cool place, you know, that he can hang out at all day where, you know, his buddies can come and hang out with him because he can't just go down and go grab a beer at the brewery because people surround him.
But how cool would it be? I think that'd be cool.
It'd be cool for a little bit. It'd have its time and place. There's probably moments where you're like, this is cool. Like, I do want to go out and mingle and sign autographs and do this and do that, but like all the time. Imagine being Jerry Seinfeld. Have you ever watched his comedians in cars getting coffee? People are stopping him, like while he's talking, like out on the sidewalk. Oh my God, I love you. Like he can't walk down the street. You know?
That doesn't seem like that bad of an issue though.
I'm
sure it's shit. I'm sure it's like super shit.
To be surrounded all the time by like people literally coming up to you all the time.
Look at how good you have life. Now maybe not everybody's like that, but you saw Jerry Seinfeld's car collection, like.
Oh
yeah, get the fuck out of here!
Thousands of cars.
If I could have all that money, all that freedom, and you can always travel to, you know, and the downside is people always wanted to be around me and take a picture. I couldn't be. I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta consider that.
It would be
the stress of someone recording you constantly. That means if you ever do anything that's perceived as wrong in public, it's going online. Now you got to defend yourself, and
Yeah,
it's
but
just
that's
like
where I feel like as an artist, that's why you should be who you are at all times, because then it's you. Yeah, that's what I did. You know, I get it that it hurts like your business, I guess, or like.
well, someone like Jerry Seinfeld doesn't matter. He already made his money. Like he could do whatever he wants.
Still
now.
makes his money, right? When they re-air it.
Yeah.
All he has to do for the rest of his life now is just breathe.
Someone just bought the rights to it because it hasn't been on Amazon or anything. I think it's going to Disney Plus next year or something like that. Yeah, that'd be like getting Friends. You know, like one of those mainstream.
Yeah.
Like
Seinfeld was like it though. It was like that's like top dog.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like Seinfeld. A lot of people don't like Friends either. You know, it's each your own.
I don't hate Friends, but I would never turn it on.
I think I've watched all the seasons of Friends at least twice.
Wow.
Probably twice. I wouldn't say at least. I would say twice. Chandler Bing, man.
I feel
he's
like
hilarious.
More people like Seinfeld than they like Friends. I think that's a...
I don't know about that.
What?
I don't know. They were both super popular at the end. And I think on both of those shows, they were getting like $1 million per actor per episode.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. And you're talking about... I think those shows had like 20 episode seasons and shit like that. So $20 million for one season of acting.
Jerry probably got paid out the ass. He got offered like a couple $100 million, I think, $250 million, right?
To do another one.
Another one, and he denied. He's like, no.
Yeah, dude, he has so much money. Like, at some point, you're like, dude, money doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, I'm worried about other shit now. You know what I'm saying?
That's insane.
To be in that
Think
world.
Of that. Think of being in
to have like
where
legitimate like fuck you money where you can just do whatever you want.
I still even think like 50 million is fuck you money. I think.
Yeah.
To an extent, but once you get into like the hundreds, say 500 million.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you have $1 billion, it's like.
Well, I mean, look, you said Drake had what, 100 million? He's worth 100 million? 150 million?
150 million. I thought he was worth more, but even that way. Dude, that's
imagine having $150 million and living anywhere but California. You just have, I mean, I would feel bad having that much money, honestly. If I live somewhere and I'm just sitting on money. But, you know, one thing that we do forget is when you look at like someone's value, when they're like, oh, Jeff Bezos is worth $70 billion. A lot of that money he's worth is wrapped up in his stocks and the company's worth.
Yeah.
So it's not like he has $70 billion in the bank account that he can pull out.
Billion.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, but he probably has multiple billions of actual money.
Maybe, yeah.
Even one. I mean, think about what you could do with it. That's where you can like blow $1 million a day and it wouldn't matter. Like literally, you wouldn't even see it.
You think he buys anything? You think he actually pays for anything? Like anything,
thing.
like regular, like everyday stuff?
Yeah, like food, because he's not famous. Rich. I mean, he's famous.
I would say
he's not like a.
He's not a celebrity.
Yeah, he's famous, but he's not a celebrity. So it's not like people like. If he was a ghost somewhere, I'd say a majority of people probably wouldn't even know. And the people who do know is not like, fuck yeah, Jeff Bezos, look at a picture.
What if he's a celebrity in the like tech world, and so he gets like free software, or he gets free hardware?
He gets all sorts of free shit because people are trying to get. He had to me.
Like, I wonder what laptop he's using.
Probably a Mac.
Like if Jeff Bezos is using this whatever laptop, I'm sure that's probably a quality laptop. Or Bill Gates. Like what laptop does Bill Gates use?
Microsoft.
Probably. What would be funny if he had an Apple? Yeah. He worked for Apple for a little bit.
I watched a documentary on them, or whatever you want to call it.
That movie? There was like a movie back in the day about it.
No, there's on Netflix. It was good. It talks about the rise and demise of it, not demise, the rise of both those companies and what was happening between them.
Oh yeah, how he kind of screwed over Apple to get the yeah.
I watched the Michael Jordan.
I haven't watched it yet, man. Everybody keeps telling me I need to watch it on Netflix.
Somebody was saying they're like, yeah, it kind of made me realize why Michael Jordan was a dick. And I watched it, and I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. I think, dude, it's a really good show.
Is it?
Yeah, there's like 8 episodes maybe.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've heard everyone says it's like even if you don't like basketball, it's just a really good like documentary to see.
And I grew up in that era, so I remember watching those games.
You know what? I gotta change this. This is private right now. So I'm like, why has nobody jumped on here? That's crazy. But it's still going. Now we're public. All right. So, man, in the news, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. That's RBG, if you will, the notorious RBG.
To just educate me on this.
So Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a Supreme Court associate judge. So I mean, she's not the head judge, whatever that's called. I can't remember now. The chief. Justice, the chief justice. Excuse me. So she's an associate judge. She's been on the Supreme Court for like 25 years. She is only the second woman that was on the court. I don't remember which law school she went to, but I want to say she was the first female to graduate from that law school. And then she had a problem getting a job out of law school for a little bit, I guess was like a thing, because women lawyers or whatever back in the day. But a lot of conservatives don't like her because she's obviously very pro-abortion, very left-wing. She's a liberal judge and stuff like that. The issue right now is that she. Sorry, this is why I wish. I wish I had the someone that was like a producer that was doing the video, so I could just focus on talking and not doing that at the same time. Sorry. So the issue is, since she died, Donald Trump can now replace her, or he can at least put forward a nomination, which he probably will, which he already said he will. And the pushback is Mitch McConnell in 2016, when Obama was on his way out, Anthony Scalia, I think it's how you say it, Scalia died, which was a more conservative judge that was on the bench, and they were going to replace him with Merrick Garland, I believe is the judge's name. And Mitch McConnell and the guys in Congress were like, we're not even going to entertain it. Like, we're not even going to, because Republicans had the majority, so they could be like, even if we do come in and like have the whole hearing, the nomination process, we're just going to deny it anyway. So we're not even going to listen to them. Ooh. And they're like, we're going to wait to see what the election says, and whoever becomes president can choose who the next, because Obama is called a lame duck president at that time. He's on his way out. When you're on your way out, you're called a lame duck president. So their thought was like, hey, we don't want a lame duck president, someone that's not up for re-election and can't be re-elected to make this decision. One of the two people that are coming up to be president should make the decision. Well, now that's obviously, and everyone knew it was going to happen, all those video clips of Mitch McConnell saying that are now coming back out. And they're like, oh, look, Mitch McConnell is for waiting until the election to nominate. And now the Republican side pushback is like, well, it's different because Obama was a lame duck president and Trump is a first-term president. And it's still his right. He can still, pick a nomination or whatever and go from there. Trump is automatically going to pick someone. And McConnell's already said that they're gonna have a hearing for him. I think there's 45 days or 44 days till the election, and there has been nominations that have gone through in less than 45 days. So it's not unheard of to do one quickly like that, but there is some obvious, it's political. It's all politics.
I still don't get why it's a big deal though.
Because it's a lifetime appointment, and if Trump nominates a conservative judge, the conservatives will have a firm majority on. Right now, it's split 50-50, and John Roberts is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court right now, and he was brought in as a conservative judge, as more of a constitutionalist, like that, but he hasn't proven to be that. He allowed Obamacare to be looked at as a tax, like he added language to laws to like validate them to say that they were okay, ones that conservatives were against. So conservatives aren't very happy with John Roberts being the chief. I think it's John Roberts. I feel like I'm fucking it up. They're not as happy as they'd like to be. They thought he'd be more conservative and but he's not. So now they want to put someone else in on the court that is for sure conservative, and it takes away that he could go either way. Like, he's a questionable person. Now, the person that people think is most likely going to get pulled into it is a female judge. I don't have my phone's in my pocket. Is a female judge out of Indiana, actually. She went to Notre Dame. I think she went to Notre Dame for both her undergrad and her graduate degree. She's a conservative, and I think the biggest issue that a lot of Democrats have with her is that she is a devout Catholic, and she has said that everything she does is based in her faith. Like her faith drives her decisions, stuff like that. So they're using that against her to be like, well, how can you say you're going to uphold the Constitution if the Constitution doesn't follow along your faith? Like if you have to choose between one or the other. And she said, like, that's not even an issue. Like I'll always, as a judge, I'll always.
Yeah, but isn't that? With all those judges, I'm sure some of them are religious, and I'm sure some of their religions kind of dictate which way they go for sure.
Yeah.
So for them to be like, just because she's open about which religion she is and they aren't, I'm sure
I think she's.
Other ones that
so her name's Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett. So it's a female, which should make a lot of people happy. But again, she's a conservative. I think I don't know her position on abortion, but being a Catholic, I'm pretty sure she's against it. I'm pretty sure she's probably heavily against it. So liberals are looking at it as a threat to Roe v. Wade. As being like now, if like she gets nominated in and someone challenges Roe v. Wade could possibly be overturned, meaning that abortion is no longer legal in the United States, except for if they set certain, whatever, like, oh, it's a medical for sure. Like if the mom's going to die, then we can do the abortion. But so right now, the way the whole Roe v. Wade thing worked out, it was supposed to be for abortions, it was supposed to be rare and like necessary or something like that. There's like a phrase right there. It's like rare but necessary, or rare like but something like that. Yeah, it's like, hey, this mom's going to die. We need to do the abortion because if not, the mother's going to die. Well, they've kind of twisted that language around, and people are using it as like, well, the mom is saying that if she has a baby, that it's going to be detrimental to her mental health. So that's now that is now validation to perform an abortion. So, I'm not going to put out an opinion either way. I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to, whatever. It's that's a weird minefield to go through.
It's not, it is.
I think a woman's choice. I think it is a woman's choice to go, if she wants to have an abortion, that she should. I think there's so many ways to avoid even getting pregnant in the first place that you should be also using those. I'm definitely against abortion in the third trimester. And that when the baby is like pretty grown, man, like you can have a baby, you can actually give birth in the third trimester and have a kid. What a lot of conservatives and people that are kind of like me, that are kind of moderate on the whole thing, or get upset about, is when you hear someone say like, up until the point of birth, it can be aborted. Yeah, so that means that means 9 months you could be sitting there and go into the hospital, and then the doctor will come in and kill the kid. And to tell me that's not a kid, that's just fucked up. So I'm not a fan of third trimester abortions, but I'm also.
What's the point of them though? I don't understand. If you don't make up your mind for the
maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know.
See, but there should be.
Me and my ex, when we found out she was pregnant, we found out 3 months. She was like over 3 months pregnant when we found out.
That's your first trimester.
Is it? That's like the end of the first trimester.
Still, it's definitely not the third.
It's the second. Actually, it was actually in the second trimester at that point, because it was the second 3 months, because it was over 3 months. Oh. Because she had surgery, and they told her, they're like, hey, there was some blood loss. You may notice some issues with your period or whatever. So like she missed her period the next month, and we're like, oh, it's the surgery. Then she missed her period the next month. We're like, the surgery? And I'm like, this isn't right. Like, we got to get a fucking, a pregnancy test. And that's when we found out. So, yeah, man, it's, so this added a lot of like questions and craziness to the whole Supreme Court thing and the whole election, like the whole election right now. This right here was like the cherry on top to just light shit on fire. There's already a lot of like left-wing like political commentators that are like, if Trump does this, we're gonna burn this motherfucker down. Like burn this place down.
Dude, I'm thinking, I'm starting to get a little for real. I'm starting to get a little nervous. Not nervous, but I'm starting to get a little like life might suck for the next couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm looking for this. I grabbed the wrong one.
I think that life might suck. Like when you hear about we talked about this before, like. Growing up in an era that just would have sucked, right? Like World War II or the Great Depression.
2020 is definitely one of those shitty years.
I'm saying, like, imagine from the age of you're 10 to the age you're 15. life is just shitty, right? Great Depression, life is just shitty. There's no food. You can't enjoy really life. You're like back to almost like not survival, but kind of survival. You're not enjoying as much because whatever is happening.
There's all these external stressors.
So like the Great Depression era, I would say, what if we slip into this thing where Trump wins and literally the fucking country erupts? And it's like you have a gun on you, you're at your house, you don't go outside. Like imagine like the worst case scenario. What if that's our future for the next 5 years after this? You know what I'm saying? Or the next 2 years or 1 year. Like where it's real. You're like you can't go outside because someone's gonna try to hurt you or something.
Yeah.
And you have what's in your house. Like that I feel the possibility of that, maybe not that extreme. I feel like it's
I don't know, man. I get that. I get that feeling. I know what you're saying, and I'm also like, I think if Trump wins, I think there's definitely going to be some issues. I think there's going to be some protests and stuff like that. I also think that not everybody is like that extreme. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think even the people that are center left and stuff will see like mass riots and protesting and be like, "What are you fucking doing, man?" Because nobody wants to live in a city that people are burning down.
Why is everybody doing it for the last like 3 months then?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about it today. I drove through downtown San Diego, and I'm like, man, there are still businesses boarded up. And there's a business over here in North Park that says, "We support Black Lives Matter." You know, there's like a big sign that says, "We support you." And then next to it is like a business that's boarded up that has a sign on the window, glass windows that says, "COVID workers work here." You know, it's all these like appeals to like, please don't bust my windows. Like that's the world we live in, where we have to like, please crowd, please crazy crowd, please don't bust my windows because I'm just trying to survive here.
That's where you say you don't think that many people will err the extreme. But I bet in the beginning of all this whole rioting and shit, there was a lot of people that went extreme that just were intrigued to like the violence, like to go out there and just.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
there's a lot of teenagers that are out there doing it because there's no festivals they can go to.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way to. I went to concerts as a teenager, early 20s. You know, that's shit I did. None of that is available right now. So like, hey, all my buddies are gonna go out to the protest. I guess I'll ride along. I'm tired of sitting in the fucking house.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Man, I really hope he wins though.
Yeah, I mean,
seeing these videos, and like I'm not that political, but I see like these videos of like Joe Biden, and it just as like a person, I'm like, dude, you are not capable of running a country by any means.
Yeah.
No matter if I like you or don't like you, like you should not be in charge of this country.
People have to be honest and be like, look, man, if you're voting for Biden, you're voting for Kamala. I could totally see if like he like wins, and then he's there for like a week, and then like, oh, hey, I'm not physically fit to do this anymore. I'm turning it over to Kamala Harris. You know, I could totally see that happen.
Yeah, and I bet that everyone's going to be like, oh, we get it. Like the left is getting it.
Yeah.
But even that, man, I just think that the left, it's almost like now I've got to witness the left in real life, basically.
Yeah.
And see dude, they're all just fucking violent.
Well, they burned down two banks down the road from you.
Yeah.
Like over, right by you.
They are violent people crying out.
That's not everybody, though.
They are violent for the most part. And the people who are
Nah, it's not for the most part, man. That's the fringe left. The fringe left, just like the fringe right.
That's a large group of people in my community that are burning stuff down. There's a large amount of people out there that think that that's okay. Like an ungodly amount of people that are.
How many of them think it's okay, and how many of them just don't want to get involved and stop it?
Fuck off. You being there makes you think that you being part. See, that's where I'm like, fuck no. In my eyes, I did not think that there was that many people that really believe that trying to get violent. They're fighting for violence, right? Fighting for peace. They want peace, but they're using violence to get it. I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. You're literally doing what you're trying to argue against.
Well,
so when I see that many people, I get really discouraged, and I'm like, really? That many fucking people are this goddamn crazy? That many people, or like you see the things that people post on the internet, that I'm like, really? You think like that? You can't see through that, or you can't see that that's obviously incorrect. And I'm seeing so many more of my friends are like that. I'm like, damn, dude.
I actually just deleted the dude off Facebook today because I'm like, man, I'm not one of the people. I don't do that normally. I don't normally do that. But when you're posting nothing but like bullshit, it's all like, it can all be debunked. You know, it's like all fake news. And then you just, that's all you do is do that and then argue with people that are against you. It's like, dude, I don't need that negativity in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't even really know you. Like, it was a guy I knew through one of the car groups. And I'm like, it's just ridiculous. Like, looking at some of the shit that some of these people post. Here's the thing, though. I'm looking at it from my own perspective. I have the fortunate ability to sit here throughout the day because I go to school full time for journalism. So I sit here and read the news all day, and I read multiple sources. If I'm the regular Joe Schmo and I don't have all day to do that, then I'm picking up one or two maybe clips of TV, or I read the headlines off the Wall Street Journal or something like that while I'm getting coffee. That's how most people are. So most people don't have the time to dive in and find out what's bullshit. And that's what sucks for me.
If they don't
to
have
see.
but to me, it's if you don't have the time to do it, why are you posting it? Why are you posting stuff you have no
That's
idea?
true. I think if you're posting it up and being like, hey, what does everybody think about this? That's cool, because then you can have like good opinions, you can have an educated argument. But when people are immediately adversary, it's like an adversarial post. I don't want to hear your opinion. I know you have evidence against what I'm saying, but you're wrong, so fuck you. That's when it's like, dude, remember, I'm not going to say his name, but that one chief he deleted me off his, he blocked me. He blocked me, he blocked Rango, he blocked you. Yeah. And he was just like, and I invited him to come on the podcast. I was like, come on the podcast anytime, man. Come on the podcast and we'll talk politics. I was like, you can say whatever you want and we can look shit up. Like, because I think we should have these conversations and talk about it. Because there's definitely a lot of people out there that don't watch the political world, don't understand it, and don't really understand what's happening. And they see little clips and they see little like out of context, excerpts of something that has, it's tough, man. It's very frustrating to watch when I sit here and watch not just news broadcasts, but like the actual press conferences. So I see what's happening in the press conferences. So you want to hit this?
Yeah. What is this?
This is a blogie.
This thing means business.
So that is a.
Where can I crank this guy off at right here?
Blogie blunt.
No, the weed's on there. Put this in?
Here, let me crush this beer.
Look at this stellar human smashing brewskis.
It's mostly empty.
That does not sound mostly empty.
It's like over 2/3 empty.
Oh my Jesus!
Take a sip if you want. Yeah, it's a blogie blunt. It's rolled with a marijuana leaf rather than tobacco because the dispensary can't sell tobacco products.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want a pre-rolled blunt from them, it comes with a pot leaf roll rather, and it has keef on it. It has like the wax and then rolled in keef.
That's cool.
So, yeah, man, it's not bad. For my people that are not in a state where it's legal, I'm sorry, but for those of us that are here, check it out if you see it. It's called Blogie Blunts.
I think my parents went to
Illinois, or no?
Or they went to a dispensary in Illinois.
Yeah, it's legal there now, right? Yeah. Recreational.
But they're like, it's the Midwest where pot's still, like it's very pot's still bad or whatever. Like my parents probably still have the aspect of like they go somewhere they don't want to be seen in the dispensary. Maybe they don't. I have no idea. But I could see growing up.
Does your mom smoke?
No, but they've been taking
the edibles.
They've been taking gummies, and I sent them home with one of those sleep. It's like it gives a dosed amount of hit. So when you hit it, it doses it and cuts itself off at the same time every time. So you're getting the same hit. You can't get a bigger one or a small one, and it comes with 100 preloaded hits.
So it's like a pen.
It's a pen, yeah,
with preloaded hits,
and it's for sleep.
What's that cost?
Dude, I don't remember. $40, I think, for 100 hit one. I think it's called. They have like different ones for anxiety. They are like labeled. Like.
You know how much wax that is? Because you usually get like a gram or half gram. That cart.
I think it's point. It was either a 0.3 or a 0.6, maybe. I don't know. What it is. So like basically a half gram and a.
It's good for someone like your mom. She'll probably have that thing forever.
She already went through it.
Oh, no way!
It was for my dad.
We should have sat closer.
My dad's got like horrible sleeping issues.
Does he?
I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be wide awake, like.
Oh yeah, I get that. I'll sleep for like 2 hours and wake up and then be like, "Fuck."
That's what he does. So he'll sleep. Say he goes to bed at 10. He'll wake up at maybe 10 to 12:30, and from 12:30 to 4 he'll be up. Or 12:40 to 3, fall back to sleep for an hour or two, wake back up. Like every night's like that. So I'm like, dude, take a fuck ton of edibles, and there's no way you're getting up.
Yeah, I haven't had edibles in a while.
Dude, I try not to smoke in the weekdays anymore. I only smoke. I'm trying to only smoke Saturday and Sunday. Realistically, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when I smoke. And occasionally I'll smoke on a weekday. So anyway, I try to take off Monday through Friday because I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't know. I just don't want my lungs to just be destroyed.
Just to be all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the guys I work with are all out of shape for the most part. But like older, like they used to do like meth and shit back in the day.
Oh.
Dude, a lot of the...
That's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of like plumbers and, construction people, they're all like felons and shit.
Not all of them, but I know what you're
I
saying.
shouldn't say all of them.
It's
I'd
easier
say
to get a
the
job in
majority.
the trades if you have a criminal history.
At a job site, I'm saying 80% of those guys have criminal history.
But how many of them do you think are like felons? And most of them,
The
most of them are like
last job
possession.
site when I was at the the guy, remember Blinky? We called him with no eye. He like stabbed
What?
a dude.
I don't think I met Blinky.
He was a plumber. So when I was in the union and at the big job site I was at, I say there was 40 people there. The guys I used to sit around, say there's 10 of them.
Yeah.
Half of them had like felonies, like 2-strike felonies. Like
Really?
Brian's got 2 strikes. Armando killed a guy. He had killed a guy. He's
What?
got 2 strikes on him.
Like manslaughter or like murder?
Ooh, I'm not sure. Hit him with a hammer, I think it was.
Why is he not in prison?
He was in prison for a long time. He went to prison when he was like 17 or some shit.
So how old is this dude?
40 something now.
Really?
Yeah, like there's not all of them are that bad, but they're
but
when they
that's
get out,
crazy.
they literally got nothing else you can do. You're doing construction or a trade. You're not. I guess you could do something else, but who's going to hire you?
Did you see that? Did you see the firefighters here in California, the inmate firefighters? Have you seen that? Have you seen that documentary on Netflix about them? I can't remember what it's called.
No.
It's called. I don't remember. It's a really good documentary. It mainly covers, I think, the females that do it. But it's like a volunteer program. If you're like if you're not like a violent criminal, you can volunteer for it. And I think a lot of them want to do it and try it because they get training and then they get put in a fire camp, which is outside of the jail. And then they get to go work on the fire lines and shit like that, which is better than sitting in a jail cell, right? They get like, there's been a lot of criticism on California for the pay. It's like $1 a day or something like that.
Or $5 or something.
Something like that. But they all still volunteer for it because it's still better than being in jail. And I didn't know until they just signed a law the other day. I didn't know that when they got out of jail, their firefighting certificates didn't carry over. They couldn't get out and still be a firefighter. Because they're like felons and stuff like that. I guess they have to get like their EMT license and shit, and you can't get your EMT license because you deal with drugs, you deal with medicines, and so they just changed that. So if they go through the fire program and they do all they do their thing, they get out of jail with no issues, then their record gets expunged so that they can go into the firefighting program. But these are low level. These aren't like violent criminals.
They have to go in the firefighting program, or they can.
They can. They have the option to.
Dude, I would 100% do that. Even if you didn't, I'd fake the funk and say you were gonna, and then get your record expunged, and then.
Well, I'm saying if you go into the firefighting program and then you get out of jail, I think no matter what, they wipe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a good deal for sure. But I thought that was something they were already doing. I didn't 2 years ago. I was like, oh, that's great. They're letting these guys get a skilled and they get out.
In the Marine Corps, like a lot of your certs don't carry, like the aviation certs and shit didn't directly carry over. And
you get that? Yeah. That's a common misconception. I bet the Air Force is better about that, but the Marine Corps, I know when I was a mechanic, when I first got to the fleet, they're like, hey, if you want any of these, if you want any of these to carry over when you get out, any of this training and stuff like that, they're like, you have to go down to the education center,
document,
sign up for, it's like a apprentice program, and then every day you had to have like your NCO or your staff NCOIC initial your hours for what work you did. But the hours that you needed to get like an actual certification were outrageous. You'd have to spend 2 years deployed to get it in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty crazy. So I never even signed up for it. But
we signed up for one of those in Okinawa.
I wonder, did Comtex? Do they have? I mean, they can get out and work on stuff,
Harris,
right?
A lot of them get out and work for Harris.
Is that really it though? Is there any other
job
for comm people?
I wouldn't. I mean, the radios and shit that they work on, though, where else are we using those outside the military? Like the same,
Police,
we're using the same, right?
Firefighters.
But they're different, actual, I'm sure, the components are different in those radios.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, but they could definitely have an upper hand.
Yeah.
Comtex usually get out and they do good. Isn't that what Nick was at Comtex?
Maybe they can just be electronics tech in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
That's
I wonder if their certs I bet like their schools.
There's no civilian forward observer certificate, unfortunately.
No.
I think actually they do have a couple people that do call for fire or have like a small artillery piece up in like Colorado and stuff where they use it to activate avalanches. Like they'll get up in the morning and go out there and shoot a round into the side of the mountain to cause an avalanche before, all the skiers come out. Shit like that. Yeah, that's like a real thing. I saw it on TV. I was like, what? That looks cool.
How
like,
sick would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you do in the real world? I'm an artilleryman. I don't know. I just still...
So you lob one hung over one day into the village behind
you. Yeah, you miss it. It goes over the ridge. My bad. Yeah, man. I don't know. Certificates, though, like, there's not... I know data guys can get stuff.
Yeah, they always do. I feel like data you get out, you're guaranteed $100,000 a year.
I mean, if you...
Because you get that CAT certificate, right? Not the CAT, the... Man, Frogger's got it.
Don't they do like A++, that?
Or whatever. They get a certificate, and that's like cybersecurity, not cybersecurity, cyber or IT work.
Yeah.
You're
network administrators and shit like that.
Right around $100,000 a year doing that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on where you're at, obviously.
Yeah, but a lot of them.
It's still a good job to have. And honestly, it's a good skill to understand, just networking in general. I hated working on the FATIDs and all that stuff. Like, 100% hated all that. But I did, like, learn some networking stuff that makes it easier to, like, understand computers.
Yeah.
Understand. And talking to data guys and kind of not just dropping shit off and then picking it up and, like, asking questions. Like, how'd you fix this,
They were such nerds.
Some of them. Some of them where you're like, oh, you work on the computers. I see that.
Yeah, and some of them, like, they're buff as fuck because they just stay in the gym, and like, okay.
Yeah. It takes all kinds, man. There's nerds everywhere, though. When I got on ship and realized how many people were playing Magic the Gathering on ship, and then that was on the second time. The first time on ship, everyone was playing Pokemon. I'm like walking around and dudes are busting their cards out, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what?
Weird shit goes on. Or we used to play Coup.
One of my buddies who was a staff sergeant got his wife to get his grandma's deck, her Magic deck that she had like.
It was what's his name, right?
Yeah, Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he got on ship and realized people were playing Magic, he's like, oh shit. So I guess his whole family's into it, and his grandma had a deck that she either gave him or like she passed away and she like gave it to him in the will or something like that, and had that sent out to him so he had his good cards to like start smashing dudes on ship. I'm like, dude. Get the fuck out of here. But hey, man,
Ski used to play that. Ski would play Magic hardcore.
It's the same kind of. My brother's one of those people, and he's one of those guys also that will. They do the board games. So when I come home, they always want me to play board games with them. Not like Monopoly, but like the crazy, like strategic. And honestly, they're pretty fun. They are fun. It's not something I could get into. Like I would. They like go to conventions and they like have.
What's fun is that what's that game where it's like the country and you're taking over other people's land and going.
Oh, Risk.
Risk is fun,
man. Yeah,
forever.
That's like one of those games. Like, hey, your piece moved 3 spots and
I've played Risk in forever. Why don't we play a board game?
We should set something up like that. We could play. Last time I played Risk was in Kuwait with my team, and it caused a huge fight, as it always does. Because Captain Watt knew the rules to the game, but no one else really did. And he would let us do something stupid and then come in with some obscure rule and be like, oh, like for me personally, and I'm calling him out on it because I'm still pissed about that shit. Dude, we were all like, everyone was angry. Like people were quitting. Like, I don't want to play anymore. This is fucking bullshit. He like took out my whole fleet though. I thought I was coming in to attack him. He's like, well, you did this and you weren't supposed to. And have you seen the rule book? The rule book's like 40 pages.
Is it?
It's like an actual like mini little book for Risk.
See, I wouldn't be able to play because I can't remember any of that.
See, that'd be good. We could play together though because neither one of us are any good.
Yeah, but do you know that you want to read through a whole rule book before we play? That sounds terrible.
Well, as you're playing, you just read, kind of glance through some of the different. I don't know. We could check it out though.
I would like to play. I'd like to play. What was good? It was Trouble or not Trouble? Sorry, what's one we bounce the little thing in the inside with the click it.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Inside of it.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It has like the little pawn pieces looking thing.
I don't remember what it was called.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, it is Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. Sorry, I had that. Hey, for the people that are watching live, we are doing this live. You can leave a comment. We can see the chat. I'll just glance over occasionally and answer some questions. If you guys got any questions, but any other? What you were wanting to talk about current events? What else was in the news that you were wanting to go over?
Oh man.
So we went over. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death and how the response to that.
Edward Snowden was on.
Snowden was on Joe Rogan.
I think that's wild. I think that's and I've noticed.
I'm glad he does it. I'm glad because I like to hear the other side, like his side of the story.
I've noticed that, like, I always feel like the MARSOC guy that I was in sergeant's course with. I remember we talked about it, and he hates Edward Snowden.
A lot of people do.
And then the other MARSOC guy, the Savage Pupper Lover. He hates Edward Snowden, and I'm like, both MARSOC guys do. I'm like, I wonder if that's in the MARSOC community where it's like a treat, like they think of that as like espionage. And like, I mean, it is.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I think
like, should he have said something? Just being an American citizen. Yeah, he does have. He has like inherent. Once you take on that job, I feel like you have, as a citizen of America, it's kind of your job to expose that shit when you're being like spied upon by your own country. But is it a necessary evil that we need to have? Maybe. If you got to look through my phone, if you're doing something on your phone so bad that the FBI needs to
take time out of their day,
then you shouldn't. Then you're probably doing something like not effective for my country.
Yeah, but that's a convenient thing to say when it's not affecting you.
Right, because
because it's not affecting you.
The internet, or I don't,
Yeah, but what happens? What happens when something that's like non-substantial to you becomes illegal, and now you're being tracked? You know what I'm saying? That's where it's a slippery slope, is what it goes down to. So I think the thing with Edward Snowden is the people that praise him are like, hey, look, he exposed a whole deal where the government is taking information and all this data, and they can use it for whatever. They're using it for whatever they're using it for. I don't know. Which he just won a court case, or his team won a court case that he was like, they said the government was doing stuff illegal and he was right to expose it. But I think it wasn't just that; it was all the other shit that he let out. Because it wasn't just those, like, people pick out one or two things, but he also exposed. It was like 40,000 documents or 20,000 documents of classified stuff. It's like he took a bunch of shit and saved it off the zipper drive, and then just like sent it out. And so there was like, mission stuff, like you can read it. It's online. So I think that's where, and I'll be honest, I'm not fully read in on the whole thing. I know like the Patriot Act is like the big deal that people are like, he exposed the holes in the Patriot Act where they're spying on us. But again, there's a lot of minutia in there, I think, which is where a lot of the issue lies with your like intelligence people that are like, fuck him, because he really... And they always talk about that Apache video. It's called... I can't remember the name of it. There's an Apache video where he shoots and he kills... there's like a Reuters photographer and a videographer and a reporter. I think he killed they killed those two people in a group of terrorists, right? So there was a unit, and they don't talk about all this in the video. There was a unit in Iraq, and they took contact. So they called it in, so then they sent in Apaches, right? And then a couple blocks over, they ceased taking contact. They said the guys pulled back. A couple blocks over, the Apaches saw these groups of people carrying RPGs and stuff around. And they're like, hey, I think these are the enemy. I think they did some confirmation, stuff like that. It was the enemy, right? These were the enemy fighters. But at the time, they weren't actively engaging, I think, the troops. Or maybe they were. Maybe they shot again at them or something like that happened. And then these Reuters guys, the dude's carrying a camera on his shoulder. So you've seen FLIR video. You've seen what the pilot sees. People think it's like what you're watching on TV, like super clear. It's not. So imagine trying to, I could see that totally, a camera on someone's shoulder, like holding it like that, being misidentified as an RPG in a group of people carrying RPGs. Yeah. So
that video got leaked?
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute video where they do multiple strikes. There was a van that pulled up, I think, trying to rescue some not non-combatants maybe, or maybe, I don't know. And then they struck the van, because that happens. I'll be honest, man, when we were in Afghanistan, you're watching a guy, or you have an HVT, a high-value target going, and you kill the dude, you smoke him with a Hellfire or something like that. If he drops weapons and stuff, and let's say he's in an entourage, if he drops weapons, like, you're not targeting any of those other people. But if he drops the weapons and someone else comes over and grabs them and tries to run off with them, then he becomes a target. And then we go and target that guy as well. Because what are you doing with it? What are you taking the terrorist weapon and going and doing with that now? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I saw there was a...
It's a crazy game, man. It's weird. It all depends on the ROEs and stuff like that, obviously.
Yeah, I see both sides of it with the Snowden deal, but and again, I do think that it's still fucked up. That I think the situation dependent on not situation dependent, but if the government's needing to use that information, do I want them to? No. But then you got to put in all the other shit he leaked out, which I didn't know he did all that. That's fucked up. That shouldn't be. Now you're like putting shelter to other countries. You're putting shelter that people don't need to see. You're like airing out the dirty laundry of your own country and just, but not even dirty laundry, like just information that nobody else should know. And I'm sure when you get read in for your TC, what do you have, a top secret something?
Yeah, he had a TSSCI, which is a top secret, and it means he's some special compartmentalized information or something like that, where like you have to be read in. And also, just because you have a TSSCI doesn't mean you're automatically accessible to more information. I guess you kind of are. But most of those programs, you don't see them. You have to be read into individual programs.
I'm saying when he got that.
But he did have that. He was an analyst or something.
Some sort of a document stating.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
yeah, NDA.
If you're going into that job and you're saying, all right, I know what I might be able to find, and I probably should make sure that I'm ready to handle this.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, I don't know, man. No one made you do that job.
You know, you signed the document. Anytime you leave a unit, if you have a security clearance, anytime you leave a unit and you go through the S2, that's what they have you read, that little thing. That's your non-disclosure shit, and then you sign it, saying that you're not going to go and talk about classified things that you saw or did, you know, which is super weird. I don't know how well they can hold you on that, because, I mean, if a dude can come out and say that he shot bin Laden, you know, if he's in a unit that doesn't exist on a mission that was completely, how can they prosecute anyone else under him? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much more secret can it be than that? You know, like, I don't know. Which there's probably intel guys laughing like, oh, if he only knew about the aliens that we captured last week in the Galactic War.
Let's talk about that shit where they
What's that?
Okay, so they, oh man, what was I listening to? I think I was listening to Joe Rogan where he was talking about that they basically, you know, that aircraft that was flying at like 60,000 feet on the radar, and then it blipped, and in the next blip it was 1 foot above sea level.
Oh, and it took off? Yeah, that's weird, huh?
There's been multiple sightings, I guess, of it. It hasn't been, not of that specific thing, but there's been multiple sightings where aircraft pilots and stuff will say that they saw the exact same thing happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and the military just came out and said, well, I don't know about that guy. Did you watch his?
Yeah.
He wouldn't like... He was very vague on a lot of stuff. He's very like...
He was super weird. But do I think that that's feasible? I think that that's 100% real. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say 100%. I think what he's talking about is real. I think the program is real. But I think he might be kind of out there a little bit as well.
Oh, 100%.
But 100%. I think that he actually saw... Do I think that that's real? Yeah, 100% I do.
That he was like in a bunker and saw the alien ship.
See, now that stuff, I know, I'm talking about specifically that power source that he was working on.
I think that he worked there. I think that he had some involvement. You know, there's obviously listings with him. They have stuff showing him being there. But I think he worked in a classified area where no one can talk about it. They all signed NDAs. And everyone else is like saying, you know, hey, we can't talk about it. Other than him. And I think he's one of those eccentric, weird people. You know what I'm saying? Just because he went on Joe Rogan and stuff, I don't necessarily think that he's... like... What
is your reason that you would say it's false? More false than true?
I watched that entire interview with him and Joe Rogan, and it just seemed super vague. When Joe would ask him specific stuff, he would never answer it. Hey, why didn't other people see this? Why didn't other people... what about this specific thing? How did you get past this?
That didn't happen as often as you're saying it, though. Because I believe it. I think that that's real.
I don't know. Did you watch the entire interview?
Yeah.
The dude
is weird. But it's like saying a data dude was weird, like your typical data dude. You know, it's like.
But do you want it to be true? Is that part of it? That maybe you want it to be true?
No, but I'm very open to it. So if I'm already open to it, like that could totally be.
How would that change your thinking if someone was like, "Dude, aliens are real. By the way, they're planning to come here in 2 years." Like, we don't know if it's good or bad, but they said they're coming in 2 years. Like,
they'll be here in 2 years.
What are you going to do? What would you do, like, if someone told you that?
I'd probably start taking a lot more hallucinogens, like mushrooms and shit. Dead ass serious.
Other people are like, we're building bunkers, we're getting guns ready, I'm developing a laser gun in my garage. You're like, I'm taking mushrooms.
Well, I need to, like, because if aliens are real, like, if aliens were real, right? Say if we really, like, that situation happened, I think it would change my whole meaning on, was I ever an alien then? Did I even start on this earth?
Am I an alien?
Did we even come? Like, that's where I would start going with it, because then, like, I'd rather know that part of it than try to build, I'd rather just start to understand it, because I think it would be very gnarly to understand what's happening. Because when the aliens get here, dude, they're gonna whoop the shit out of us.
Yeah.
If they can make it, if they can make it here, that means that they.
What if they're peaceful though? What if they're so advanced or peaceful? They're like, why would we fight you?
I'm not saying that they wouldn't be, but I should say that if they came waging war, I think we're dead.
How do you think? How do you think the Marine Corps is going to go against the 3rd Alien Battalion from
Mars,
from the second,
second
whatever,
galaxy?
second galaxy?
I don't think that we would. I think we'd have all the aircraft state. I think we'd just be ready. But if you are being able to make it here from wherever you're at, we could see light years away. So if you're able to have a vehicle that can travel at light years, like.
Yeah,
that means yours.
So we're just hoping they're peaceful.
Yeah. Honestly,
so anyway, but back to Bob Lazar though. I think I think a lot of his stuff is like, okay, yeah, I get that. I think you worked there. I think you did some stuff, but I also think you're lying about some stuff. I'd have to sit down and watch it again. I've only seen the one interview.
I would agree with that.
There's a whole documentary, but I haven't seen it.
I think you just have to be fucking. I mean, put yourself in that dude's shoes, right? So let's just say he was real and he's really telling the truth. Think about how weird it would be witnessing all that, having all that happen to you, and then having to live with that for 40 years?
And no one believes you. They're like, okay, Bob. Sure, Bob.
That's what, and that's what I mean. It would kind of turn you into a strange person. I feel like it would kind of.
Well, yeah. You believe in aliens. Who the fuck are you?
That's what I'm saying. So imagine being him now when you're like, he was kind of weird about things. I think that's just because, like, he's had to live in the spotlight of this shit. It's like Alex Jones that goes on.
Alex Jones is insane.
He's fucking crazy.
The thing is
he's being him.
Yeah.
Imagine how fucked that would make your whole life.
The shitty thing about Alex Jones being crazy is that there's some stuff he's correct about, but people can't acknowledge. Like, Alex Jones is right about that, because if you say that, then you're crazy, because you believe Alex Jones
and think
on
about
anything.
Being that person.
But there's some stuff that he was right on, or whatever. I don't know. I'm not an Alex Jones follower or what. I don't watch his show. I've only ever actually seen him on Joe Rogan.
Same here.
And he's a weird fucking dude. He has like a cult following though.
I think he has a cult following to kill him too. I think a lot of people don't like him.
Mm.
I think he got like banned from Twitter.
Well, you think like people would smoke the dude if they saw him?
No, but I think it would be shitty to go out.
Oh yeah.
Because then you're like,
like we were talking about earlier, you're one of those faces that when you go out, everyone knows you, so you're immediately surrounded. Yeah, think about that. Living that life, man. This comes right back to that. That's the same argument for like you never want to be that famous where.
I think I like, for me personally, I'm like a super social person. Like I could. It would for sure. At some point, you'd be like, "Fuck, okay, dude, just let me go get a cheeseburger without having to like hide," because then you don't get to do any of the normal human, like what's normal to us. Just like being a normal person, you can't ever do that.
That's why they have VIP, the VIP areas and clubs and shit, so they can go to the club and just chill.
Yeah, but I think that would be cool. But the trade-off to be like rich and famous, I think, would also be neat. You should listen to I watched a little bit of the Miley Cyrus, Joe Rogan. I think it was at your place.
I started watching.
She talks about going to LA as a kid, like how it all kind of happened, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking crazy. That seems like, imagine meeting Justin Bieber, like
her. I couldn't really listen to hers for too long. I just
watched, I think, the part when I was here.
Yeah, well, I didn't know we were even watching it together. Yeah,
you turned it on.
Oh man, so how's work going, dude? How's life?
Oh, dude, it's
what kind of shit you digging up?
So, I'd say 25% of my job deals with shit, like actual like poop, where you're like, it's a shitty, like you're doing something nasty. 25 to 30% maybe, and then the other 70% is like.
Do you ever get grossed out anymore?
No.
Are you beyond that?
Yeah. So first couple weeks of work, first couple of months, I remember I was like, oh, that's fucking gross. But now, honestly, it's just a part of my job. And once you, like, normalize it, like, it's just poop. Everybody poops. Like, poop is gross, but it's just waste. It's like when your dog poops.
Yeah, but you don't want someone else's poop on you.
Well, when you make fucking the money that they make, like, it's It's not bad.
Plumbers do make good money.
It's not. I mean, it's just poop, man. What the fuck? Yeah, it's gross.
What's the top grossest thing you've had happen so far?
Oh, dude, there was we went to this house, and it was like the shittiest frat house you could think of. Like, it was pretty shitty. It was gross. There was like nasty shit everywhere. The carpet was disgusting. This kid's room was fucking disgusting. Like, I would never even sleep in a sleeping bag in that house. It's gross.
Really?
And they're all like super hippie kids. And but the guy was cool as fuck. He had a toilet that someone had fell into in a party and like broke the bowl off of it, or the bowl off of it. And so they just duct taped it shut. So there's no back to it. Sorry, the tank. So there's no back to it.
Yeah.
Because it got ripped off. So they just duct taped the entire thing closed with duct tape for 3 fucking weeks. And there was shit in there, dude.
Oh.
And so we get there and they're like, yeah, dude, it's been broken for a couple months. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. I'm like, fuck. And now I've never witnessed anything like this. And I opened that thing, and it immediately made me almost throw up.
No way,
and I'm talking
dude.
like, this isn't like it smelled so bad. Like, this is one of those stenches from like sewer gas buildup. Like a nasty methane. I've never even come close to even like understanding that. I was like, holy fuck. And the kid's standing there, he's like, I'm sorry, man. And
can you go, no, man, we're not doing that.
100%. And if that was my, if that was my truck and like my call, I don't know if I would have or not.
Or you'd be like, hey, you got to clean that up first, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, because like the shower was broken, like it was stacked full of shit. It was like almost like a hoarder house, like pretty close to a hoarder house. So like the bathroom was like not even usable, and the floor is fucking nasty. And I'm down there, I have to unbolt the toilet to pull the toilet, and that's one of the times where I was just kind of grossed out. I was like, fuck, man, this is kind of gross today. Like that was one of the days where you're like, all right, I earned my money today. Like, fuck, man. But yeah, I had to shop back it out. What I should have done now that I think about it, I should have just thrown it because it didn't work.
You shop back what out? The shit?
The shitty water, because when you pull it, it's gonna all come out.
Oh yeah.
What I should have done is if you have no water and the water wasn't hooked up to it, my guy had my tools which were in the van and he had to go pick up another toilet. So I only had a couple tools there.
Yeah.
So what I should have done is just got a bucket of water and thrown it in the toilet and forced it to flush just to get it through the P-trap, and it went down to the drain, and then it went.
What was wrong with it? Why'd they even have to get it replaced then?
Because someone fell.
Oh, because they broke the back off. That's right. So they just needed it replaced, but they waited a couple months and continued to, a couple weeks and continued to use it. They
Probably, and then they taped it up. Dude,
Well, I mean, what else do you expect from 19-year-olds? Let's be honest. How many bad barracks rooms have you been in?
A lot.
Yeah. I remember one time at 10th Marines, I was a sergeant, I was like, hey, you know what? I thought that morning, I'm like, today after chow, I'm just going to tell the guys we're just going to randomly go look at their barracks rooms, because they're always saying, hey, go look at their barracks rooms. So I was like, we'll just go check them out. And I told them, I'm like, I'm not looking for it to be like field day ready, just, a clean room. And I'm not strict either. Like, I'm not even saying, like, if your trash isn't taken out, but it's not overflowing, like, whatever, man. I don't care. Like, it's tidy. You keep your room tidy. And I remember we were walking over to the barracks, and this one kid was like, hey, Sergeant, I just want you to know. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear anything. I was like, let me see what it is first. I was like, and I told him, I'm like, hey, man, like, here's the deal. Like, I don't care. I just want it. I'm not looking for it to be field day ready, And we walk over there, and I open his door, and I'm like, what the fuck? All his linen, and his roommate's linen too, I think, but maybe it was just his linen, was all balled up on his rack. On the floor, there was a huge puddle of standing water.
What?
There were pizza boxes stacked up somewhere. There was like pizza boxes on the floor or either on top of the little mini fridge. I can't remember. I opened up one of the drawers, and there were I'm okay. There were box chows from the range from the previous week.
No way,
dude. I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's like cords where he's stealing cable from his neighbor. So there's like a wire running through. And I'm like, who is your fucking roommate, bro? And it was some kid in comm. This is when I was with Artie. And I was like, dude, call this dude. I called over there. I'm like, hey, you need to have this kid and one of the NCOs come down here. And this corporal comes in and was like, what the fuck? And I looked at the other kid and was like, I'm supposed to be getting out tomorrow, and I'm dealing with this shit. And I was like, oh, my. Then I felt bad because now I'm like, I'm fucking his day up. Oh, also, they were both sharing one wall locker for all of their gear. all of their gear was all mixed together because they wanted to share a wall locker because they thought that would be easier. This kid also ended up losing his gas mask later on, and we never found it.
God damn.
Yeah. I was just like, so that, I mean, yeah, I can imagine somebody's room being like that.
That's the houses that like, and it's crazy because you'll go up to this house in this beautiful neighborhood in La Jolla or somewhere super nice house, like nothing too big, but like it's fucking nice. You go inside and it's just disgusting. And I'm like, you don't even fucking deserve this house. Like,
yeah, there's gross people everywhere, man.
Everywhere. But
yeah, people that let their dogs pee and poop in the house and then don't clean it up. Like,
where the fuck am I? Are you in the jungle? Why would you want to live like that?
Why would you? Yeah, even your dog is like, bro, dude, let me go outside. Like, I don't want to walk on this. Yeah, that's horrible, man.
So that's like, I'd say 25 to 30% of my job is gross stuff.
Is dealing with people with gross ass houses.
Yeah, well, like just gross shit in general. The rest of it is like water, like the water part of it, like or drainage, or you're running water lines, or your hot water heaters, or like all that stuff. It's the fun.
What is something you're dealing with that you didn't even expect was like something you would deal with?
Ooh, man.
Is there anything, or is it all kind of like, I kind of figured I'd be working on this? Because when I think plumber, I'm like toilets, sinks, outside lines sometimes.
So we run, so before I even knew anything about plumbing, I didn't know plumbers do gas as well. So we do all gas lines too.
Oh, okay.
We can run gas lines. We can repipe your house with gas. We can do everything with gas. I always thought that was just SDG&E.
Yeah.
So like when we moved in, the house smelled like gas. So I called SDG&E because that's who I thought.
Isn't that who you call?
Yeah, and it is.
I was like, wait, who do I call?
So you can just call. What you should do is just call a plumber, because if SDG&E comes out, right? So say you're like, hey, I smell gas. They come out and they detect a gas leak. They lock your gas meter.
Oh yeah.
So they'll shut it off, lock your gas meter. You have to have it inspected.
Oh.
So you have to have somebody come out, fix it, and then it has to. The city you don't have to pay for it. The city comes back out. The city inspects it to make sure it's good, and then they'll unlock it and turn it back on. So if you have a leak and it's like not bad, say you got a leak that's just outside and it's just like a slow leak, you'll keep your gas on until you get your gas fixed.
Would you want to keep your gas on though if you have a gas leak?
Yeah, I mean, if it's in your house, no.
Isn't this how like neighborhoods are blowing up and shit? Like you see these giant gas explosions.
No, those are bigger. Those are like, I mean, we deal with gas leaks all the time. Like right now, we just repiped a huge $15,000. Imagine like a building and then a parking lot in front of the building. We had to rerun like 30 feet of gas line underneath the asphalt.
Yeah.
But because it had a gas leak somewhere from the old gas underground.
Yeah.
So we just let that. It's been on for 2 weeks, just leaking, and then we laid the new one. So because they run like nitrogen, these giant fuck off tanks, because they're making medicine for like, it's one of those big pharmacy places.
Oh, okay. Corey, real quick. Corey asked if you've ever showed a homeless man your peen. Thank you for the comment, Corey. Those of you that are watching right now, feel free to leave comments. We will read them off and answer some questions here.
Corey, wait, is that Corey Sullivan?
No.
Corey from the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, I know a couple Corys
what
that
up?
say that, which is weird.
Thanks for checking it out, bro.
Yeah, hey, thanks, bud. I mean, probably. I'm going to guess the homeless man's probably seen my
Do you ever have to deal with homeless people while you're working?
Yeah.
Really? People that don't live in California don't understand the impact of the homeless community on like society. I don't want to say regular society, but like everyone in general.
And again, Savage Pupper Lover, the dude on Instagram, we always posting. You follow him?
Yeah.
He's always posting shit about the homeless people downtown. It's fucking terrible. There's like literally like on his balcony, it'll be like 2 a.m. and there's like a homeless bitch like screaming her head off, like bloody murder, like waking in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And then all day the homeless people hang out right across the street from them.
This corner up here next to me, like on the road, it smells like piss because the homeless guys come up there and piss at night on this little corner. And I'm like, when I would walk my dog out there, every time I'd take him for a walk, I'd just smell homeless piss over there. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Yeah, like, that's gross, dude.
Think about, you should go down, if you haven't been down there, go down there. You should see, it's like Cicero, dude. It's like...
Yeah. I've been up to...
They're not making them move their tents during the COVID.
Yeah.
So that's why LA and everything's so bad, is because they're just being able to just basically park wherever they want, as long as it's not, in downtown and Gaslamp right now, dude, there's streets lined with homeless people, literally lined with them.
Yeah, down by the public library.
There. Yeah, there's people who live there.
Mm-hmm.
That would fucking suck. Imagine being a girl.
Yeah.
And coming home from work
That's what I think about, yeah.
If I worked at night, every night on the way home, I'd call and have a cop outside. hey.
Yeah, because a lot of those people, like, they work downtown and they live downtown, so they don't have to drive. They, like, walk to work or bike to work.
How terrifying that'd be to
Now, if you're, like, a 120-pound female and you got some crazy crackhead fucking screaming at you, like...
That's scary shit. Dude. You should never... You should never have to deal with that in America. We are not, like... We're...
Cities, man. That. Cities are way... I mean, that's how cities are.
That's just fucked up. You have to be nervous and scared in your own... That guy put up a video.
I think that's why you should be able to protect yourself.
Black dude, big old boy, out in the middle of the street saying he was going to kill somebody. He had something in his hand. He was like trying to wave around. That's scary ass shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like when I go for a walk at night with the dogs, Lacey and I can't carry a gun. Mm-hmm. One day there was a homeless dude, because we don't have them in the neighborhood, but like every once in a while there'll just be one wandering, and there was one coming right at us. And he's a bigger boy, and I'm like, I have no weapon. I carry a knife with me every time I go for a walk, like a decent size one. Because at least I'm not going to get got in my own neighborhood, you know? Yeah. And this guy was walking at me, and I'm like, if I had a gun, I'd feel 100% safe. And it's bullshit that I can't do that.
Yeah. It's,
Imagine getting gunned down and someone killing you in your own house in America, and you're going to live in a state where guns aren't legal, right? Like New York. They're legal,
New York City, you can't have a gun in New York City at all.
So
you have to be like
and having your house broken into.
You have to have like an armed guard card in New York to be able to carry a gun.
You can't even protect yourself. Imagine if someone broke into your house and as you're dying, you're like, "Well, my state thought this was good." You know, like they thought they knew better for me than I do.
Well, that's why a lot of people are like the same people who are telling you to defund the police are also the same people that tell you that guns are bad. So now, like they tell you don't need a gun because the police will protect you, but then they're also saying that you should defund the police. It's ridiculous. You're right, man. I think you should be able to protect yourself. I thought about that one time. We were hanging out, and Lacey weighs probably 100 pounds, maybe. She's like a tiny person. And I look at that, and I'm like, dude, you're like what a gazelle is in the wild. You know, like there's like lions just watching you. Like, I'm about to get that. I'm about to fucking, like I'm a bigger dude. I'm just over 6 foot tall and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what that's like to be like smaller than everyone. Yeah. You know,
she mentions it all the time. She's like, I'm tiny. I'm like, yeah.
She should definitely be like in some kind of martial arts or having a weapon or something. People like that, though. I mean, 100%.
She's got like pepper spray and shit on her keychain.
You're right, man. It sucks. It sucks. California's being like that.
And just imagine. I always think, just imagine dying.
And we're nothing like L.A. Yeah. San Diego only has like just over 8,000 homeless people. L.A. County has 70,000 homeless people.
I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, San Diego's going to look a lot like LA.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're all.
I also think that. San
Diego's beautiful, and just in the last 8 years I've been here, 7 years or whatever, I've seen a complete change in it.
There was some law that went to court, and then the court sided with whoever was on the homeless side. I don't know if it was ACLU or somebody defending them, but was saying that the police have no right to be able to take their tents off if they're on a sidewalk with a pup tent, they want to set up a tent, the police can't stop that because that's public property. And they have a right, as anyone else does, to be in public. And that's just one of those things where then it's like, okay, well, they just don't enforce it now. Now it's just one of those things. So I can't remember the court case. I know I'm probably getting it off a little bit, but it's along those lines.
I think that it's just kind of. I don't understand this whole like being homeless would suck, man. If you were like homeless but you were trying to like make it, you're like, fuck, I'm in a slump. But that's so rare to the people the homeless people. If they don't care about themselves, why the fuck should I care about them?
Yeah, there's to
an extent.
You can see
the ones who are just getting money to do drugs, and now we're feeding them. They bring the food trucks down there in the morning. They feed them.
Yeah.
So we're feeding them, giving them water. They can piss and shit where they want. Now all they need is drugs. So they get all their attention and time is on just finding drugs.
And people still give them money. I still see people sitting at stoplights and like sitting out there panhandling, and I still see people roll their window down and hand them a $5 or whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? I get it. Hey, water should be free. Like we should be able to give stuff like that to them. And I don't know, man. The whole situation is just fucked up. Top Sal's in the chat, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Top Sal. He said Djibouti is a lot cleaner than a lot of these places in downtown LA. Dude, 100% right, man. Yeah. Let's...
Hang on. Remember those like outlet malls, just pyramids of clothes and the tires?
Where?
Like
in
just
DJ?
Driving in DJ? It wasn't literally
a mall.
It was
an outlet mall. What are you talking about? In that village?
Can you let me finish? It wasn't literally a mall, I'm saying, but it was like a shopping center of just pyramids of clothes, like just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they had like those little cell phone huts or like the businesses there. And there, did you drive through all that where they just had
I drove from
tires? The tires were all stacked up everywhere.
I drove from the base out to Arta Beach a couple times and out to the OP.
Arta Beach was nice. Oh, I got to drive. We had our own. It was Jerry and I that were the drivers, and we were just ripping it on that thing and like the back roads of Djibouti.
I told Archer once. I think it was Archer. I was in the back of his truck. I was like, dude, we should stop and say what's up to these people, because I was a fucking advisor, man. I was an Afghan advisor. So I think it's cool to like sit there and talk with like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Here's a bottle of water. What's life like? Just like, I'm a curious person. He's like, dude, fuck no. Lock your doors.
Yeah.
Keep the windows up. Yeah. I'm like, dude, calm down. We
had a kid jump in the back of our truck and steal a case of water, 2 cases of water.
Yeah, big surprise. They're ninjas, man. When you're that's what I've brought it up multiple times at school and told people, I'm like, man, you guys really need to like travel. Like if you're a hippie, whatever, man, join the Peace Corps, go to some of these places and see the despair and shit. And you're going to come back and appreciate what you have in the U.S. You're going to come back and realize the poor in the U.S. are so poor that they're complaining about it on their iPhone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like over there, these dudes are living in fucking
remember those tin huts,
corrugated steel huts in like the hottest place in the world. Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's such a crazy place. That UN refugee camp for all the Somalian refugees.
That was fucking gnarly. That was huge.
We told someone, we're like, hey, how much would it cost? Dude, the refugee camp is at probably a mile long. It's massive. And we're like, how much would it take for you to run across the entire refugee camp, right down the middle, try to get through, from one end to the other? Because within a refugee camp that big, that's a mile long, there's probably some kind of black market going on. There's probably some kind of little gang system that's going on in there. Like
wild, dude. Like fucking animals. That's crazy.
People can't appreciate it, man. Begging for bottles of water. I mean, we go places where you have to set up security, and it's like a legitimate mission to hand out bottles of water and food because you will be rushed by people that are so starved and thirsty that they will attack you for your food and water. You can't just go up to someone and be like, hey, here's a bottle of water. How you doing? Because then everyone else is going to be like, where's my water? Where'd you get that water from?
I'm like, they don't know how good they have it here because they have never been anywhere where people don't have it good, which is the huge majority. There's a lot of places where people have it a lot worse than we do.
I brought it up multiple times on the podcast, man. People got to get out of their region. Not just your state, not just your city. Travel across the country to a different region, at least. If you can't travel abroad, at least go to a different part of the country because the United States is so huge, so vast. It's like the European Union. Every one of those countries is different, right? Germany is different from France. France is different from England, but they're all part of the European Union. That's a better way to compare the U.S. rather than from country to country because the U.S. is so huge, It doesn't make sense for it to be one country. That's why the whole states' rights things and stuff's a big deal. And to just get out, like if you're from the South, man, go out west, go out to the Southwest, go up to the PNW, something like that, or just go out and see the country and talk to people, meet, like go to a diner and just have a chat with someone. I don't know, man. We're spoiled in the military because the military is not just diverse culturally, but regionally, like U.S. regionally, and you have people from other countries. I remember one of the kids I was in MOS school when I was a motor team mechanic was from China. He spoke Mandarin. He was like straight Chinese, and I'm like, at first I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing here? But we ended up lifting weights together and stuff like that. It was cool.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's
people got to get out.
They don't understand that it's.
What's the shittiest country you've been to? Like, and I don't mean shittiest like it's a shitty country, but like the living conditions, like.
I mean,
it's got to be Djibouti, probably, right?
Yeah. I would have to say, pretty much, hands down Djibouti. Because with like Malaysia was kind of.
But you were in the jungle. You only saw the jungle.
No, I've been there like 3 times now.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. Well, the city's nice.
That's what I'm saying. The city is basically every country in Asia that I went to. The bad is gross, like Crow Valley, shit like that. Like when you're in the Philippines is nasty, but then like Manila's beautiful. So it's like
I've never been there.
It's but Djibouti is like almost all. I didn't see any nice Djibouti.
Really? Well, the base was nice.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was the place to be, man.
And we were there in the air-conditioned huts.
I mean, I wasn't there. You guys were there. Oh, I was only there for a couple days.
I was there when I was on restriction, too. So
that was one of those, like, I'm going to find every reason I have to, like, not get on the ship today. Oh, I can't make it to the LCAT because I got this medical thing I got to go get checked out. And they can only see me in the afternoon. Oh, no. Djibouti's the place to be. If you can get stationed in Djibouti, like, unless you can go to Bahrain. Bahrain is like the place to be. But if you can go to Djibouti.
It was cool to get off ship and then see the ship. Like if you just got off by yourself for a bit. And it's like that, you see this big ass ship and you're like, they don't give a fuck about me. But then you're like, there's like S1 and there's like that guy. There's one person that's guaranteed to, I'm going to get back on that thing. And they're just trying to get you. You're just trying to get away as fast as you can.
Yeah, you're on the roster, bro. Get over here. And you're like,
yeah.
Get on the LCAC. Maybe the LCAC will break down. Let's have to get towed back. No, we're towing it to the ship. No.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I think about it and I think like, man, am I still happy that I got out? And it's 100% yes.
Yeah?
And it dwindles the less I see something like. So the more I don't see anything bad about the Marine Corps, I'm like, man, I miss being in. Like, fuck. But then as soon as you remember, like, remember what's like getting woken up for an formation was to get yelled at by somebody?
Hey, we're all getting recalled to get yelled at because so-and-so left the radio behind. You know, like someone else that's a moron anyway.
Where you're like,
it's
God
fucking everybody.
damn it. Like, I can't fucking wait to get out. You know, like those are the times where you're saying that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm out, I'm like, fuck yeah. And I think that it's like you miss you miss the clowns, not the circus. I miss all the guys I was in with, but I don't miss the big Marine Corps.
You miss the circus, not the clowns. Or, maybe it is the circus. Maybe it is the other way. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know which way it is.
Clowns, not the circus.
Yeah. Yeah. So
anyway, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff I miss for sure, like going to the OP, waking up on San Clemente Island. Like I was a pretty happy person in the morning. So I'd get up and be like, what up, dudes? Everyone else is like getting out of their bags, freezing. I'm like, all right, we're in the field. Like, loving life. What's up? You know? Like what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, dude, it's just, I mean, how can you be mad when you're waking up on San Clemente Island sunrise and hey, by the way, F-18s are coming checking on in an hour. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. We got the heavy bomb box going. We're going to drop some, GBUs in it, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was cool, but I was never like...
Oh, man, I live for that, man. When we were doing, I don't think it was your MU. I think it was it was our MU together. When we were doing our MU, we went out to Yuma for the workup. We did that MUX or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
I could not wait until they sent me out to go with the BLT. They were like, hey, Kramer, I want you to go out to the BLT and just kind of float along, see how the fire section's doing. So-and-so needs some codes for their JTAC quals, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, thank God, man. Like, I couldn't stand being around the command element, around all the office workers. Like, it's just a different environment. It's a different vibe. And I'll always remember this, man. It was great. I remember the first night, they're like, hey, you're going out with LAR. You're cruising with them because I had to do stuff with the LAR JTAC. And LAR, dude, how can it be even better? Now you're in a vehicle that's super comfortable to ride in. You don't have to carry anything. Like, even better. So cruise out there, and then, we're sleeping. I'm getting ready to go to sleep and set up out, outside the vehicle next to one of the tires. And I look over, and there's a sandstorm coming towards me. And I'm like, fuck. And then I just cover my head with my poncho and then fall asleep. And I swear to God, that was the best sleep I had in months.
Really?
Like with the sandstorm, and I just rolled over and fell asleep and slept through the entire thing. I woke up the next morning, everybody else was like, dude, it was fucking. I was like, what's up, guys? I was like, hey, what's up? Man, the storm last night. I just slept great.
I like sleeping out in that, though, when it was, it's because I think what it is that, I don't know.
Hand me that blunt.
When you're like outside in this, like say it's like inclement weather, or even if it's just cold out, and you get your sleeping bag and you're outside and you're sleeping bag. It's not like you're in bed where you could sleep without covers and it'd be fine. But outside, you're like, fuck, dude, if it's gonna get cold tonight, I physically need this on me to not get hypothermia. And you're in there and you're warm and you're cozy and you're like, all right, dude, I'm good. Like, I'm set. It's gonna be cold outside, and that I like that.
Yeah,
I like the aspect of like the camping aspect of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need to go camping more, man. You need to go camping with us sometime.
I also love getting to be able to take a shower every night now. I never have to worry about
How much more did you appreciate a shower when you came out of the field, though?
Oh, my fuck.
Dude, you get out of the field, you take a shower, crack a beer, and you're like, yeah.
People in these other countries don't get to do that. They live in that shit. They don't just get to shower every fucking day. Like, when we're talking about these huts that are in Djibouti, I mean, imagine just putting up, like, corrugated... like steel, so like the, like the wavy steel. 4 of those, and then 2 on the roof. And that's literally your hut.
That's literally what they're living in.
Like, that's...
I remember being out there and it was like 80 degrees and dudes were wearing sweatshirts. And I'm like, that dude's wearing a sweater. It's 80 fucking degrees out here.
And now think of it in the middle of a desert plain kind of deal, African desert. They're just potted all over the place with maybe some trees, 1 or 2 of them, like a mountainside, and that's it. There's nowhere for them to go.
I wasn't there long enough to like interact with them too much, like out on Arta Beach and shit like that. Did you ever trade with them or anything?
Yeah.
I know they're always trying to trade like sunglasses and cigarettes.
So there was donkeys that we were at. It was like we were waiting with LAR for like 2 or 3 days to get out of there.
Yeah.
So we like stayed in the same spot basically and had like a tent. It was pretty cool. We all just chilled. And those guys would come over and barter cigarettes, and I think Andresen traded them a G-Shock for like something, you know. And they wanted watches. Was like their big thing. Watches.
It'd been cool to get something local, you know, because I've got that. You can't see it, but that what do they call that Warhammer thing?
Yeah.
I can't remember what you call that bludgeoning stick.
Yeah, Rango's got his too.
You know, but I got that from the PX. You know,
Rango made it.
No, I bought it from the PX on Djibouti. You know, because I was like, I got to get in, and then one of those walking staffs.
I made this.
You know, I had to get. You got to get something while you're in Africa.
I made this when I was in Africa. This bracelet, and I wanted to get a bead, like a bead from them, a couple beads, and I was going to put a bead here and a bead here, and then this, like from a hair, you know, like one of the little. Because how fucking cool would that be to have like an African, like from Africa?
Yeah. Our best chance to do that would have been the day that Archer got called back to the ship and we went out and did casts all day. You, Jerry, who's it? Me, you, Jerry, Doc, freaking one other person, and we were just out in a random spot doing sim casts on a village.
Yeah,
I was like, are we allowed to do this? Do they know we're doing this? Because if not, like they're gonna freak out. That not like F-18s doing sim, you know.
Yeah.
Drops. We're talking about Cobras diving in on simulated gun runs on like.
That was cool because I got to use real cars and real people and.
Yeah.
Because it was an actual like North.
It was an actual like African village. I don't know if they knew that we were doing that though. Someone had to have known.
Yeah, we should have stopped. You know what I did get though there at the store was that glass plate that I have with the elephants on it and the coasters that are like drawn. They drew like an animal. You haven't seen them yet. I got those when I was in Africa, but I think I got them at the PX, but they were like the little side section that was like handmade. It looked all handmade. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. You know, you got to get stuff on your travels. You know.
I wish I would have gotten more.
Did you buy shit from Hong Kong or Singapore? You didn't buy anything?
Not really, dude.
I got my niece's like little geisha girl sets. You know, those little like silk.
Yeah.
Whatever. I got them those. I got like chopsticks, you know, stuff like that. I was sending stuff to my family.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah. That sucks, man. You got to get stuff from those places. That's, you know, and another thing that a lot of people regret is not taking more photos.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, my computer broke that I had. All my pictures are from Okinawa on. So that sucks. And a lot of people I talk to, do the computer. I'm like, fuck. I wish I...
Maybe that can.
And I guess I do wish I took more pictures, yeah, for sure. Because even like when Shane passed away, we had to get photos and everything of him.
Yeah.
Going through pictures, I'm like, do we have even like some of my best friends, like how many pictures do we have together?
In the Marines?
And
none.
Like in like
maybe
daily, you know, like we don't ever take photo. You know,
no.
So I don't know. It might.
We have videos.
In the moment right now, we're like, man, we should take more pictures, but I'm still not going to take more pictures.
We have podcasts together. People see us talking, doing this stuff.
Just doing stuff.
This is basically gone. I don't know if you wanted any of it.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was good times, though. The Marines was great. Getting out was tough. Like, for me, it was just not fun anymore. You know, being I was very upset when they sent me to the MU, and everybody knows that listens to this. So I just felt betrayed, and then everything else that was going on at the same time that I had going on, it was just like, dude, this is not. I'm becoming a more senior person, and I don't like the idea of like riding a desk, and like I don't like the idea of going on a 7-month deployment on a MU for no reason other than to stand watch once a week, because that ended up being the only reason they had me there. You know, like, how can I tell my kid goodbye again to go do that? How can I justify that? You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about your family, man. Like, my kid, it weighs on your, he's getting older, so leaving is harder when they're like a teenager,
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it anymore. So now we spend time together all the time. He's not here now, obviously.
Kale.
I wouldn't be smoking weed.
Kale.
Yeah, but yeah, man. What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
I'm also glad I got out. I'm glad I'm going to college. I think more people need to get out and not get out, but get out and use their GI Bill. Like it's free money to go get an education, and you don't have to go get a bachelor's degree. You can use it for like trade school. Well, you can use it for like certifications and stuff like that. And stuff like that. It's like if you want to learn something, if you want to learn how to do something, like use your GI Bill and go do it and get paid.
Lacey's getting paid like. Well, she's gonna start She'll start school again. I think it's like $2,600.
Out here in San Diego, it's $2,600.
Yeah,
$2,600 a month for rent.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, and it shouldn't be people's only income. Like, you should also bring in other income as well. Don't use that as your sole income. But it's a great thing that a lot of people don't take advantage of. And I'm glad I'm doing that. I'm at one of the more liberal schools probably in the country. It is what it is. Some classes I feel okay, like speaking up and talking about, like countering some of the opinions. Because sometimes I wrote a paper last night. I was like, the patriarchy and the way that they display the patriarchy is blah blah blah, puts down women. I'm just okay, whatever, man. I'm going with it because I want to pass the class and just get through it. But in reality, like I'd be like, this is ridiculous that you're talking about a radio show in 1945. And trying to judge it by today's standard, like shit like that. But I don't know. School's cool. But school is fucking cool. What I tell people also is don't go get like the BS degrees. Don't go to like ITT, Phoenix, whatever, Phoenix Online. Like go, you're getting it's free no matter where you go. You could go to Harvard. It's free. It's paid for. Like, why not shoot for like a great school?
Do you?
That's just my opinion. So I don't know what people out there think.
Do you think aliens are real?
Oh my God, are you serious? Yeah. I mean, odds are we're alive. There's got to be a creature somewhere. I think any creature that's alive anywhere else are going to call them an alien, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do they have to have little spacecraft and green men to be an alien, or is that?
Do you think that we're going to be robots? That robots and us are going to be one?
After using the VR, it's not here right now, but like, dude, I watched this NBA game on VR, and I was like, this is crazy. On an Oculus.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're like sitting in the stands, right?
Yeah, you're sitting in the stands. You're watching the game. You can look around. You can choose to be in the VR crowd. So now you can sit next to other people that are on VR and talk to them about the game while you're watching the game in front of you. It feels like you're in the stadium. Like it's a little weird, but it's at the same time, it almost looks like you're watching a video game.
Two things. One, and this is crazy because it's like the Atari of VR.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
pretty
like the PlayStation 1, Xbox 360.
Yeah,
I'd say 100%.
Probably PlayStation 2. VR's been around for a little bit, but it's just now becoming more popular.
I'm saying where it's going to be in 10 years from now. I think now to where it's going to be, I think it's going to be completely different. I think we're on a very fast climb for technology.
I think even in 10 years, it's still not going to be extremely popular, but I think it's going to be more popular and gaining popularity. Because I think it's going to take a little while for some people to jump on and try it out. But the whole point is for your question about are people going to be robots, eventually you're going to be like, why am I going to go walk around and do real shit when I can just sit here in my VR chair and I feel it all. I can be whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. You make money in VR. You make VR money and like it's...
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, man. Yes, I think we're going to go that direction for sure.
Like the people are all like,
what's that one show? There's a show where there's people walking around as robots. The robots are walking around and they're at their house like in a pod.
That's what I think it's going to be. But I think it's going to be like...
But I don't think the robots are going to be walking around. I think all that's going to be digital.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be a... What did you do? And, are you talking real world or VR? Like, I think there's going to be you have like when you say something, you have to like specify, was it in VR or was it in real?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be jobs that I got to go to work, get your VR and go.
Well, we've, so in my advertising class, one of my advertising classes at SDSU, we were talking about how companies are coming on board and they're now advertising in VR. Like when you're going through areas, there's like billboards with Nike, whatever. You can buy Nikes for your avatar. Like people are paying real money. It's just like on Xbox or anything like that. People want to get different skins. And I tell my kid, I'm like, dude, why would you spend real money on fake shit that you're never going to actually own or have or use? And then once you stop playing that game, it's no longer valid. I'm like, because he wants to spend like money every week on something new. And I told him, I'm like, you have an allowance so you can buy video game shit. I'm not buying any more video games for you. Like you have to buy them yourself, but I'm going to give you an allowance. That way you can earn it. You know what I'm saying? And but then I also have to tell him, like, you can't spend all your fucking money on like skins and shit. Like save that stuff, man. And that's actually how we got the VR. He actually saved up his money to buy that. So. I'll give him credit for that.
I think VR is going to be. I mean, like imagine, like you're saying, like imagine you and your friend from across the country going to a basketball game in VR, right? You
just talking,
sitting down. Hey, dude,
what up, man?
I think that's going to definitely happen.
And it's only going to get better. Like right now, it's blocky and kind of cartoonish, like the characters, the avatars.
That's what I'm saying as far as like Xbox 360. Right now, we're in like the baby stages. Of
VR.
Yeah. So like, imagine how cool it's going to be. 10 years of technology is crazy. Think about. Now till 2010 to now, like the iPod.
I think the whole COVID thing has probably increased VR usage a lot. But I will say though, on like the Oculus, what the problem right now is like the initial problem with computers and the internet. Initially, computers were all there. I mean, there was no network. There was no real network, and the networks that people had were individual networks. Like there was not a national worldwide network. And then once someone was like, we should make a worldwide network, and then they did that, and all the computers came together. Then the internet and computers became like a huge thing, right? Right now, I think all the different VR brands are their own networks. I don't think on the Oculus I can get on and interact with people on other. Maybe I can. I'm not fully spun up on VR stuff, but I don't think you can all come together for some of the stuff. Once it's all one big thing, like it's like the internet of VR, I guess. I don't know, man. It's more people have to come on board. It's just not that popular.
I think it will be though.
It probably will be once it gets better. Once you don't have this blocky headset, and honestly, like it looks crazy, like having that on your face. But you've worn it. It's not heavy. Like you honestly don't even notice it that much. I want
this Neuralink to come out.
So aren't they testing that?
Sometimes I get really upset because I'm like, man, I'm not going to be around long enough to see like the cool shit happen. We're never going to know.
We're on the edge. We're like,
yeah,
we might have our memories saved and ready to upload into our avatar.
Yes. I'm like, please, just let me make that.
Let me make it so I can be eternal.
That'd be crazy.
But you won't be though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just be like a computer, not you, which sucks. Yeah, man.
Wild. Very wild.
Yeah. What do you think about this heat wave, bro?
Here's the freaking deal, man.
And
it's 97 in my house today, I think.
People not using ACs out here. Could you imagine not having an AC for the last month?
I wouldn't. It's
like 90.
Yeah. Get it.
What is it right now? Let me look.
It doesn't sound that bad.
It's not that bad right now. It's 82.
Oh, nice.
It's nice today. Last week it was 106 at the park.
I was fucking shook when my electricity went off in my house.
Oh, yeah, the rolling blackouts.
Goddamn audacity that SDG&E has to fucking turn off my power during a heat wave, during a fire.
Like a record-breaking heat wave. Like, hey guys, I know it's like a record-breaking heat wave.
It was like 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
There was a message that the governor sent out. It was like, hey, it's 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever, like when people come home, the peak hour time. It's like 3 o'clock, make sure to set your thermostats to 78. And it's like, go fuck yourself, bro.
I bet your
78
is at the 78. Like,
what am I sit here and just sweat? Ugh.
But the thing is, I bet none of their fucking houses are turned off.
But what's crazy is a lot of these people don't even have AC. A lot of these people are on like window fans and shit.
I don't fucking get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, man.
I mean, don't you have a standard of living where
maybe if you're from here and you're kind of used to it or something. But
yeah,
I mean, if you're in the heat all day,
You got to be able to escape the heat and get away to somewhere. Lacey and I lived in La Mesa last year without one.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh my God, in La Mesa?
Or 2 years ago.
Dude.
No, never mind, because we brought...
La Mesa's hot.
Actually, yeah. So house AC, we just got this year. But
La Mesa's hotter than here, and it's not even that far
AC,
away.
We always had the AC in our room at night.
Yeah, you have to. That's why I have the AC in my room.
So we would like go, if it got really hot, we would just go to the bedroom and just watch a movie in there and like hang out.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, I want to be able to come home from work and step into a nice cold house. I don't want to get out of the shower and continue to sweat. That's like the worst thing ever.
Dude, that's the worst. That's the worst. So, speaking of movies, did you go back and watch Back to the Future?
No.
Fuck, dude. I cannot believe you've never seen Back to the Future. Tomorrow asked if we're baked.
Tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
Yesterday was his birthday.
Happy birthday. Second off, I enjoy your DeWalt kit. I think you have very nice DeWalt tools. Third off.
Hey, if you need exercise boxes, what's tomorrow's company's name? Check out Andrew Tomorrow on on Instagram.
Now you forget. It was third off. Oh, that rabbit you have. What's going on with that thing?
The rabbit.
You got a...
Oh, he does have a rabbit.
Or
I don't know if he still does or not. He did have one.
Is that thing like domesticated?
That's a thing, man. People have them. There was a guy down the road.
Domesticated where it doesn't shit in the house?
Well, I think it's like a cat. I think they have a litter box for it.
Yeah?
Yeah. And there was a guy in Oceanside down the road. If you walked across PCH or Coastal, excuse me, if you're from there, people call it PCH. You're like, excuse me, it's not PCH, it's Coastal. What coast? The Pacific. Oh, okay. Anyway, there's a guy who had a rabbit, and it was in the yard all the time. He had the white picket fence around his yard, and you would look over there, and he would just, there was like one or two, I think it was one, and it would just be chilling at this huge rabbit. And you're like, what the fuck? It's just like a dog. They had a little cage out there.
I don't think I would like a rabbit.
And then
Can you pet a rabbit? Like, is it,
yeah, cuddles and shit. It's like a domesticated rabbit. I was at the brewery in Oceanside, that one that closed, the Surfside Tap Room.
Yeah.
And a lady and this old dude and this old lady came in and brought a stroller with 2 or 3 like therapy rabbits. They would travel, they would go to hospitals, and these are these rabbits that are just super domesticated, and you can sit there and rub them, and like, what? And everyone at the brewery was like, oh my god, and like all like petting these fluffy ass rabbits.
I like the small rabbit. Oh, do I like rabbits? I don't know if I like rabbits, man. I don't think I've ever really.
Would you rather have a rabbit or a pig?
Pig.
Yeah, pigs look cool as a pet.
I think you've met Zach. He's a black guy. He had dreads. His wife was going to be a cop.
I don't know.
Anyway, they moved back to Arizona and got a house, and they have a pig now.
Yeah,
and it's cool as fuck.
Did you ever see that pig in Oceanside? The dude walking
the big
it?
One?
Yeah, he would just walk it around.
Right now, it's a miniature. I don't know how big their pig's gonna get. It's only like the size of like Benjamin right now. Oh, it's like two Benjamins stacked on top of each other. I know we had a potbelly pig growing up, but this pig is that
like
big.
A farm pig or a house pig?
No, I think it was a farm pig. I mean, I think we had a pen for it outside.
Did it come in the house?
Does that thing go in the house? Dude, I don't remember. I remember I used to go to our neighbors and eat their bushes, like the rose garden.
Oh, really?
Like the church next
They get really pissed.
Yeah. Did that thing come in our? I have to ask my mom. I don't know if it did or not. I don't remember. Anyway, they have a pig, and it's fucking cool. Hands down, to have a pig. This pig gets like the zoomies and like zooms in circles and falls over and shit.
It's
like a dog.
It looks dense and heavy though.
It does, and their big old fat fucking noses. That'd be so cool to have.
Yeah,
I would
don't
want
know,
like
man.
a miniature pig though. Like I
wonder if it's hard to keep them clean.
I want to say that pigs are actually clean animals. No,
are they? I don't know. People out there.
If you teach it to like poop outside and pee outside, I'm sure.
Well, the one guy down the road, down the road was the rabbit. Up the road, the guy had had like a huge tortoise out in the yard. You saw that, didn't you? Did we walk up there one time and see that tortoise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huge. And it had like a huge hole in the ground. It had dug. It like lived underground in the front in this guy's yard. And then he had a pig that would stay in the yard, and he would walk it around Oceanside, or he still does, he walks around Oceanside, and he carries a grocery bag full of popcorn. And he just throws popcorn on the ground, and the pig just like,
really?
He's just like walking and eating it the whole way, dude. He's super nice guy, man. His yard is like kind of trashy looking and stuff like that, but we stopped and talked to him and was like, oh, that's a cool pig. Like he wasn't like if you didn't know him, I imagine if I was a kid, like 14, I'd be like, that's a scary guy, like a creepy guy with a pig.
Yeah.
You know, but I saw him and I was like, hey, what's up, man? Crazy, you got a pig, huh? We just, super nice guy. But yeah, dude, a pig and this, I'm talking a tortoise with like, the diameter of this thing's shell had to be close to 3 feet. At least 2 feet.
I just remember that I'm on camera and I just murdered those Cheetos. I probably had 3 or 4 in my hand, took them down.
So, Andrew, he is baked.
Yeah.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, come to answer your question, I'd rather have a pig.
Yeah? I don't know, man.
I had snakes and iguanas growing up.
My kid wants one, but I'm not.
A snake?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't mind them, but I also don't want to fucking take care of it. But I don't know how much you have to do to take care of it.
We had like 2 or 3 different snakes. And you just got to clean up their poop, but usually they poop only after they eat. Our snake we only had to feed like once a month.
Oh, really?
Or once yeah.
I miss Rango's snake feeding videos.
Yeah. So besides
do.
that, and then when they eat, usually they'll shed a little bit afterwards. And you just clean that up in their poop. And they only poop like once or twice. There's not much poop unless they eat. But besides that, they have like a little heat rock or whatever. And
what are you going to do with a snake, though?
I would take it out. Like as a kid, it was cool as shit. Because it's like slithering on the ground. You're that kid with the snake. I remember I brought it to school for show and tell.
If you want to be the kid with the snake.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it's super cool to have.
Yeah, no, I bet it is.
Anything else? I mean, dogs are really cool to have as well. But it's always cool. It's always cool to have like a different animal in the house as a kid. Like it's cool to experience that. Like having a pig growing up, I thought was cool. Having a snake was cool. An iguana was cool. It's very. I don't know. I guess
we had
animals too.
we had hamsters and gerbils and what are the big ones? What are the bigger hamsters?
Guinea pigs?
What are those? Guinea pigs.
I had a guinea pig too. It was like
one
Oreo or some shit.
Yeah, some stupid kid name.
Yeah, I had hamsters too, and I had like the tubes
hamsters
that they would go in.
Oh man!
And me and my friend,
and the ball.
My friend had a hamster, and I did too. I had 2 of them, and I remember thinking how cool as a kid because I wanted to get him all the tunnels around the room.
Yeah,
I'm like, how as a kid you're like, that's so dope. Like you can just have him crawl all over the room.
Yeah, but he wouldn't though.
No, he'd be like, fuck this.
Why would I go all over there? I don't know, what's in the other neighborhood?
Orange ball that he would go in, and I'd close the ball, and I'd put him out, and he'd just go travel around the house, and the dogs would fuck with him. Yeah,
the ball, man. I think that was probably fearful for them. Probably at first, like, oh, look, I can walk around, and then suddenly someone's rolling them, or the dog's bumping them.
Yeah, that would suck, actually.
Yeah, that's probably scary as shit.
That always reminded me of Indian in the Cupboard. Indian in the Cupboard.
That was a good book.
The hamster chases after him or whatever.
I remember that book. Well, I mean, it was a book before it was a movie.
Yeah, but I didn't read the book.
Oh. Well, the book's good.
As a kid, you read them. See, that's the difference. When I was a kid, I never picked up a book because I was like, no, I want to read.
The whole series of, there was a whole series of them. There's like 3 or 4.
But as a kid, this could be insulting. As a kid, did you watch movies growing up on TV?
Yeah.
You're only like 3 years old.
Yeah, I'm not like some 50-year-old dude. What was the war like? The Great War. How was Normandy?
I'm pretty stoned. I apologize.
No, man. I mean, I was like, I grew up pre-internet. So, what did we do as a kid? Played outside. I grew up in Tennessee, Chattanooga. So we played outside a lot. I watched war movies, not like crazy ones, but like I think I talked about it on the last podcast, like Tora, or like The Great Escape, like movies like that, like classic war movies. The Green Berets. I don't know if you've seen any of those. Yeah, it's John Wayne. But I mean, they're super corny now. If you watch it, you're like, what?
That's
it's so
your
fake.
dad was in though, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't honestly. I mean, I'm sure he watched it too, but I don't ever really remember him encouraging it. I think it was my own thing. I wanted the little green plastic army men. I had a little C-130, like a one I could shove them all in and stuff. I just grew up like watching that stuff, and then watching TV, watching Doug Funny, watching Rugrats, classic, and dude, I don't know. I'm not that old, so go fuck yourself.
I grew up doing the same. I mean, the internet came out, I think, when I was. 8. I don't know, 30.
Well, I mean, your first exposure to the internet was probably
like I remember we had a desktop in the basement. Like it was like a Dell or a what was the other one?
That's cool.
I can't remember, but
a lot of kids didn't have
my mom's
computers.
Friend had to come she like worked. She knew about computers, so she came over and like set up our computer for us and like
Yeah.
got it all. Because you used to have to do a bunch of shit to it, like when you got it. And I remember we were cool because we had 2 phone lines. One was dedicated to the computer
For the internet?
Because my dad was like, I don't want to have to switch it every time. I don't want you guys are going to be on it. I don't want the phone to not work.
That's cool.
So then we had that, and I remember getting off from school and going on AOL chat. You know, like with all your friends,
man.
you just got home from school.
AIM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, that was the first instant messenger I remember using.
So we got to grow up in a cool time where you get to grow up still fucking around playing around outside, and then you get to start and then watch, and you're like the test dummies for technology, like phones.
Basically, you know,
our age group. You know, it was like
that's why I'm still kind of into it, man. I'm still kind of like I'm curious. You know, I want to understand technology. Just kind of I've watched it kind of happen. So I'm such a loser. I've been watching these MIT puts these free courseware. So basically, college lectures online, and I've been watching these college lectures on computer programming, like Python. It's a computer language.
Jesus Christ.
Just because I want to understand like what they're doing. I will never be a computer programmer. But I want to at least like have kind of I don't want to be that old person that can't unlock their phone. You know, they don't understand it. So I'm trying to like kind of stay kind of fresh on some of this stuff. But I am a little older than you. So when the first time I remember using the internet and being online was in middle school, we had a computer in the library. And I'm like, whoa, there was like 3 or 4, and we had to take turns. And I'm like, Netscape Navigator, like, and this was like basic internet. It was like you could go to a website that was like an encyclopedia. Yeah,
the page would load like real, like digitally, like slow.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh shit, oh.
And then growing up, man, we didn't have a computer at home. Even in high school, a lot of kids didn't. A lot of us used a computer lab at school. But my brother got this thing. I don't know what it is, but it was like a computer thing that you plugged into the TV, but it would only take you online. You could only get on the internet with it, but it would plug into the TV and plug into the phone line. But it wasn't a computer. It was only to get online. And we had that. Me and him would sit there and just be on. We would get those AOL free trial discs and just use them constantly. And that was when I first I've told you before. Growing up, I would read my parents. We had an encyclopedia set. So we would read the encyclopedia, like look stuff up, and I think that kind of drove my curious mind, right? And then when we first got the internet, man, I remember going deep into like message boards, like the original like message boards and stuff, like, and just looking shit up and seeing what people are saying about this. Like, there's one example. There's a Pink Floyd, the Division Bell. Pink Floyd. Everyone's heard of Pink Floyd, the rock band. There's an album called The Division Bell, and there's like a conspiracy theorist about this album, and there's all this stuff online. There's like things that happened at concerts, like certain lights were set up that people say they weren't, and all this shit. And I was a huge Pink Floyd fan in high school, so naturally I'm online looking this stuff up. And dude, I remember like spending hours going through message boards, reading about it. This event occurred. If you look at the album art, there's like little hidden like clues in the album art, like all this shit.
Like pre-Google.
Yeah, I mean
there was still search on Ask Jeeves.
Dude, I think it was before Google. I don't remember when Google started, but this was 2000. This is probably this would have been about 2001, 2002 time frame. So this would have been pre-Google probably, or right around that time frame. But that was my first like, oh shit, this is the internet. Like, look at me doing all this stuff. I had a GeoCities like website.
Yeah.
I went on Yahoo and played pool.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah. You know, email. I still have my stupid email I made in high school. It's I'm not gonna say it online, but it's a brand name of a skateboard shoe. And some random numbers. That's my email address, and I still have it. And I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe that was my email address in high school.
I remember playing Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
I remember playing that hamster. I
don't remember the hamster.
The hamster dance. If you went to that site, it was that hamster that danced all across the screen. It was.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I remember playing that like in middle school all the time. You'd turn the computer on it, and remember like E-Bombs World.
Yeah.
That was more like high school era.
Yeah.
But
there was a website. One of my first memories of a website I could remember because other dudes were looking at it. Be like, dude, check this out. I think it was ogreish.com. It was like ogre or ogreish.com. and it was a website where it was like dead bodies and shit.
Oh, there's Rotten.com. That's one. Rotten.com.
Maybe that was it. It might have been Rotten.com. And I remember some dude.
You've probably seen the same dead people, and you're just like, yeah. I swear on my life, oh my shit. There's a dead guy there that has these yellow eyes. And
my God.
He's probably still on that website, and I can still remember it.
Kids would look it up at school. Kids would be on the computer lab, like, Kramer, look at this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you looking at, dude?
Imagine doing that now.
Oh, my God. You probably can't. I mean, dude, now they get laptops, and they send home laptops.
Yeah.
They gave my kid a Chromebook.
It's wild.
To...
Remember going home with books?
You're talking about a middle school kid. Here's your Chromebook.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not a new one. It's a little... I was messing with it, but I don't know. Yeah, man. Technology's crazy. VR is an extension. VR reminds me of the beginning of the internet.
Yeah.
There's chat rooms. There's like rooms you can go in and talk to people and do stuff. Like, it is what it is. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the military uses like VR technology to train. And then, man, drone warfare is coming. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be drone on drone
they were
like
talking about that
attacks
as well, and they were saying that there's a big uproar about it because the percentage of innocent people that get killed with the bad guys, right, is high, and I keep hearing that, and I'm like, dude, that's war. I mean, I don't know.
They keep saying on Joe Rogan about a statistic like 90% of the people killed with Hellfires were innocent, like civilians, and I'm like, that seems a little high. Having been involved in like the whole, process from targeting, all the targeting, the piss off, the like location, all that stuff. I don't see it. I do see like, hey, I smoked a dude and 3 dudes of his entourage. And a lot of times you'll look those dudes up and they're also on a list, but they're not like HVTs. You know what I'm saying? They're like bodyguards for the HVT. So they weren't the target. They were unintended deaths, but they were still bad guys. Like they're still dudes we would have smoked either way.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how much of that it plays into the statistics that he's getting and stuff like that, because I think that's a really, I mean, people hear that, and I think I've talked about it on here before, but the whole process it's a long process, and overseas, in certain places, and depending on what's going on, the process to get a bomb off or a HIMARS strike or something like that, it's a lengthy process. So you're talking like 20 minutes, and people like, I want to see the UAV. He walked under literally, I watched this. We're following a dude who's an HVT. He walks under a tarp. There's like a tree, tarp stretched out, tacked down, walks under it and through, doesn't stop. And they're like, well, we lost sight of him for a second. So now we have to re-verify this person is who we think he is before we'll do the strike. That's how strict they are. So for me to hear 90% of the people killed with Hellfires or whatever are civilian casualties. I don't know,
like
man.
The COVID thing where it's like, well, if you once had it,
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to believe something like that.
He was born an innocent guy, so then when we smoked him and he was the guy's bodyguard, he's still innocent.
I've only seen one strike where we were like, oh shit, I think we just hit a civilian. It was a kid, and then we're like, okay, wait, we didn't get him. Thank God, because we were following this guy, another HVT. And I guess he went home. Like, he was on his moped, AK slung across his back. He's in Afghanistan cruising, right? And we're following him. Because what happens is you have to, as the targeting guy, I'm looking at how far away is he from all the structures and people and everything like that. What is the 0.1, 0.1 piece, I said piece of eye. That's not it. 0.1. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 0.1, the percentage of capacitation. What are those numbers? What are the damage rings is what you're looking at. Okay, if we use this munition, it'll cause this explosion, so we can't use it, so use a smaller one. Okay, there's the ring. You put that on him. We're not going to hit anybody or anything around him. So, and we were following this guy, and he gets out into the open, and he stops, and he's by a compound, but he's outside of the ring. And we're like, all right, hey, cleared hot. Like, it was a Predator, the JTAC that was on. He was the JTAC with 3.6. And cleared hot, fucking, rifle, rockets in the air, on the way. Dude's getting off his moped. We see a kid come out of the compound. Daddy's home. Starts running towards the fucking dude. I'm watching the feed. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And then the Predator operator, you see him tip the fucking reticle down. It's called a cold shift. And he's actually not supposed to do that unless he's directed to do that. And on the Marine Corps side, I think the Air Force allows him to do it if he's working with the Air Force. It's different organizations, different rules. And he did what's called, it's like shift cold or cold shift, I can't remember. So he makes this, he shifts it just enough, and the strike, boom! And when you're watching on these feeds, it's IR, right? It's black and white. So for a second, it's just all blown out, hazed. And the OPSO was like, did we just fucking kill a kid? And we're all watching like, what the fuck? And it all clears off, and da-da-da-da. And then we see the kid run back to the house. And we're like, oh my God. Well, first off, obviously that's horrible, like, and traumatic that the kid just saw that.
Yeah.
But at least we didn't fucking kill him.
You just created a terrorist.
Probably. But his dad was a terrorist, so. I think that one, I can't remember exactly, but I think that dude was an IED builder.
Oh, shit.
So it wasn't like he was just some poor farmer that was being forced by the Taliban to dig a hole. He was like a dude that was producing them. I'm pretty sure.
His kid was already going to be a shitty.
That's the reality, man. A strike like that's the reality. It's like, you know, there was a civilian casualty, I think, on my first deployment to Afghanistan, where a DM, a designated marksman, shot a farmer because he was out farming at night, and the rules in Marja at the time were you can farm at night, but you have to have a lantern. So we know you're a farmer and not a dude putting in IEDs. And he didn't have a lantern. And I guess the DM, I wasn't at that fob, but the DM at that fob, they saw this guy, they tried to identify him, and they're like, that dude's fucking digging on the road. From what they could tell, they thought he was digging on the road. And the dude took the shot and killed him. And this is an area where there's, like, obviously a lot of IEDs and stuff. And he wasn't. He was a farmer. So his family brought his body to the base the next day, and then they paid him a couple $1,000s. They paid the family a couple $1,000s. That's what happens. It's crazy, man. It's crazy that, like, I mean, when you're over there, you see that, and you're like, that sucks. You know, like, that's war, though, man. That's war. World War II, they weren't paying people's families because they were killing their grandma on accident. You know what I'm saying? They were, and to pretend like that didn't happen in every other war is, that's just ignorant.
War's not pretty. You're not going to.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's like when Joe Rogan, they say stuff, and I'm like, I don't think you understand, like, the normal, like, I don't know. I agree with a lot of things he says, but a lot of things he says. Some of the things he says, I'm like, all right, maybe, nah. Debate.
Yeah, I mean, we're animals, man, and animals fight. And people are always like, Animal Kingdom doesn't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there's a lot of, like, animal creatures that just kill each other for fun or whatever. Or, we're just one of those things. We're one of those creatures. You're not going to get some random dude in some tribe in Afghanistan who is 100% Taliban because he's just been raised that way to understand Western values and cultures. It's just not going to happen. And to pretend that you can make that happen is just ridiculous. To get someone like that to, like, change their way of thinking to our way of thinking is to talk about a generational change. Like, we send dudes over there for decades to like teach, like, here's how you read, here's how you write. Because a lot of these people, you got to think in the outskirts of Afghanistan and Pakistan, they send their kids to these schools called madrasas, right? And the only people that know how to read in some of these villages are the imams, the guys, and the church leaders, whatever you want to call them. I can't remember. God, I can't even remember their name right now. But, and so if he's extreme and he like takes an extreme, like, viewpoint of how the text is being written, then that's what he's teaching the people, because he's the only one that can read it. Yeah. He's the only one that and if he went to one of these madrasas that were, like, extreme, then he learned an extreme way of looking at it anyway. Then he went back to his village and then began teaching that to him. So that's the kind of thing you have to counter. And it's like, how do you counter that? Because people see that as, like, a religious school that's just like we send kids to Catholic school. There's kids here that go to Catholic schools and stuff like that.
You don't think that there is a chance you could change the mind at all?
I'm saying if you did, you're talking about decades.
Yeah.
You'd have to be willing to commit decades of people going over there. And also you'd have to be willing to have people be the same person. Like, I'm going to come over for a year. I'm going to go back for 3 months. I'm going to come back for a year. Because they want to work with the same people over and over again, right? The whole strategy of us going over for 7 months and then coming, and then the next unit coming in, or the Army going over for, a year or 18 months sometimes, and then another unit coming in. As soon as like you're making progress and things are happening, then it's like, boom, I'm leaving, and a new dude is coming in, and he's going to be making decisions. And he may not look at 2 Marine captains. Do 2 Marine captains think the same? Now one of them is leaving, and another one's coming in, filling the vacuum, and taking over projects that were already being discussed and stuff like that. And if he looks at it differently, like if he's pro, like they should be rebuilding their own communities, we should be giving them money and helping them, then he may work. If he's against that and like, fuck that, we should just be out here slaying dudes. You know what I'm saying? You have different mindsets coming out there, and that's why you can't get any real progress done. You have to have people that are dedicated to going out there and spending that much time. So, yeah. Hambone says, Bear is a sexy man.
Oh, Hammer Time said that?
I got glasses. Could I go recon? Yeah, 100% you can go recon. There's definitely dudes in recon with glasses.
Yeah.
Right?
I would. Yeah, there's got to be.
And if not, it would definitely be correctable 20/20. Like if you get your eyes, the LASIK done.
And they do LASIK for free.
Yeah, if you get the LASIK done, yeah, then I'm trying to think if I know any recon guys with glasses. Do you?
You got it. There's got to be some of them. I can't think back like if they did or not. I want to say Lee might have.
There was a radio. You know what? I do know one guy that does have glasses. He was a JTAC. He was one of their JTACs I worked with. He had glasses. So yeah, for 100% you could have glasses. Yeah, I don't know why that would mess you up. I don't know. Does that fuck you up when you're diving and stuff? Maybe there might be for certain schools, there might be certain qualifications you have. But I would almost guarantee that any of those are LASIK 20/20 correctable. Like if you have the LASIK surgery and it's corrected, then they'll let you. Thanks for the question, Jordany. Have you pronounced your name? But yeah, Hambone, thanks for checking it out, homie. Yeah. So TikTok's getting banned tomorrow. What do you think about that? You're on TikTok. You're a TikToker.
I deleted
or
it
you just
a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
I thought you. The only reason I downloaded it was because Lacey would always just fucking be laughing at something. I'm like, what are you laughing at? And she's like, I'm trying to send you all these, but you don't have a TikTok. So I got a TikTok so I could watch all these videos that Lacey would always send me because when she was going to school, it's like she loves like just flicking through videos and just laughing. And then I put that video on, and it got like 400,000 likes or whatever it was, like 600,000 views. I think I had. I think I had like 80,000 likes or something. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just put a couple more up, and then it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I don't have time to do it. Like
another app, another thing to keep up with.
And it was funny. Like the videos are funny, but I could see those same videos on Instagram, on Facebook. So I'm like, this isn't worth it.
That's kind of why I'm not on Snapchat very often. I get on every once in a while because of the group that we have on there. But outside of that, and you sending me a message every once in a while, I don't even post on there because everything you do on Snapchat, you can do on Instagram, right? And that's kind of the point. That was kind of the whole point behind that.
The groups, I have a lot of group messages, not a lot. I got a handful of group messages in Snap that I use. And then some of the guys from back home, like, that don't have Instagram, have Snapchat. Because a lot of people have Snapchat just attached to the phone. Like, your number is attached to it, whatever. So a lot of the guys that I don't really talk to on Instagram, I'll talk to them on Snapchat. Yeah. I'm probably on Snapchat like a handful of times a day, maybe.
Yeah.
5, 10, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, even like the quality when you're filming a Snapchat, I feel like Instagram somehow it looks clearer. Like if I film, especially like dark time, like with the dogs, for sure, it's weird. Instagram has a clearer, I don't know how the term is, but
yeah. Jordan, he said the views and likes are fake on TikTok, and it's CCP propaganda. I've heard that before too. If you're like a new user, they quickly make you go viral or seem to go viral to give you that like, this is great, I love it, and like try to get you hooked to stay on it. Have you seen that documentary on Netflix, The Social Dilemma?
Fuck, I just watched it today.
I watched it last night. I was watching it last night. What'd you think? Were you surprised by any of it?
No, not really. A little bit because like some of the stuff I didn't know, but like Yeah, it's a whole different world, dude. That's a whole different. So, like, my sister has kids. She's 12. She doesn't have a phone yet. Mm-hmm. And you got to think, like, raising a kid, you're either, like, you either don't give them a phone and they're a nerd, or you give them a phone and they have the power of the fucking internet, you know, like, and now that they're on
with the good and bad. Yeah.
So it's like, what do you it's, you know how hard it would be to be a kid right now? It's got to be, dude, it's got to suck to be a kid right now. Mm-hmm. Not, I should say it should suck, but I think a lot of people that talk shit on them, you know, the kids are always on their phones and this and that, blah, blah.
Everybody's always on their phones.
That wouldn't have been easy. It would, like, being a kid right now would not be easy. Think about having to control your own life, right? Your real life, and then all this, like a girl. Imagine being a girl that's a freshman right now. There's so much pressure.
People are judging your social media content.
Not only are they judging you in real life, they're texting about, you know, like, all the phones.
Did you see Julie use that same filter again?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Everybody's connected. And then on top of that, you have to maintain a social life, because if you don't, you're the nerd that doesn't have a Facebook or a, you know, like, I think you're almost having to balance two lives as a kid right now.
You also have to consider, so my kid got a phone a little early because me and his mom were getting divorced, and I was like, he needs to be able to contact either one of us, wherever he's at, anytime he wants. 2, we don't have a home phone. I've never had a home phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, since I've been an adult. I've always just had a cell phone, because why would I get a fucking home phone? You know, like, why am I going to pay a bill that when am I ever going to use that phone, right?
I don't think people still have that.
No, you definitely do. They try to bundle it with, like, cable packages and shit like that, which who has cable?
They try to bundle it with our internet. It was
and internet.
It was cheaper for us to have a phone line. It was like $10 cheaper because we would have got the bundle package instead of just having internet and cable. So we had cable for a little bit. If you bundled the 3 together, it was cheaper. It was weird. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. And I never got a home phone.
Oh, okay. So you have a line, but it's not connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but remember, as a kid, I did, at least, my school planner in the back, all my buddies wrote their phone numbers down. That way I could call and be like, hey, let's go meet up. Let's go meet up at the clubhouse, you know, or whatever. Like, let's get on our bikes and go do something. And I was telling his mom, I was like, hey, he needs to have that same kind of ability to contact his friends. Are you going to let him use your cell phone to call his buddies and just talk or whatever? And then she was like, okay, I get that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, or get him a home phone just for him. I mean, that's the other option, I guess. But
yeah, well, he doesn't have, like, his hometown with his home friends.
I will tell you also, though, that he is on his phone. I have to say something to him, because he will walk everywhere with his phone in his hand and the headphones in if I let him. If I don't stop him, he will try to bring in groceries while watching a video of dudes, like, playing video games or watching whatever on YouTube. He'll try to bring in groceries. He'll try to do the dishes. He'll try to go take a shower with his headphones on. He'll go sit in the shower with his headphones on. You know, like, he wants to be on. And I'm like, whoa. Phones off. Let's go out. Let's go to the park. Yeah. Let's go get outside. And same way, you want him, I don't care about the, like, oh, you nerd, you don't have a phone aspect. I want him to also understand technology and learn about it early so that he can, you know. Yeah. One of his friends got contacted by some weirdo online, a female friend, and I think that was an early lesson for him, that there's, like, creepers out there, you know, that I can't remember the game they were playing online, and some dude was like, well, yeah, do you like older guys? Like, this is like a 10-year-old girl he was talking to. Yeah. So, speaking of which, remember that did you see that show Cuties? I have not watched any clips. I have not watched the show.
I am not surprised by anything else anymore. Nothing surprises me.
People said that it's not just a film of them dancing, but it's like the shots are, like, extreme close-ups of, like, their, like, private area, like 12-year-olds or 11-year-old kids.
And I've always said that about pageants. Like, you ever watch those shows where the moms
that shit's super weird.
Like the crazy ones, they wear, like, the fake teeth. The kids do toddlers and tiaras and shit.
Yeah.
I have always thought, I'm like, this is the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Why do you go through that?
And then this show comes out, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking insane. How are we turning a blind eye to this? They're literally taking pedophilia and saying, here it is, in a show form that we want to make look normal.
So
none of us have, like, no one has kind of been like, wait a fucking
Well, the point of the movie was to point out the over-sexualization of kids, of youth. However, people are like, hey, if I'm against people shooting dogs, I don't make a film of people shooting dogs and go, look, that's bad. You know?
Literally.
They're like, you can get the point across without filming, like, inappropriate shots of children.
Yeah, you're making a film about people making you're
Again, I'm
doing the
judging it
action.
without I've never actually seen it.
But there
so.
shouldn't even be like the cover photos, all that. Those are like children. Those are like literally kids.
Yeah, literally kids.
Why the fuck does it have?
And now all those kids are known for being in a film that people think is for pedophiles.
Yeah,
All those kids are fucked
they
for
all
life
just found
anyway.
Macaulay Culkin. All of them did.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin. That dude's a weird dude.
Yeah, but he's back to normal. Not normal, but he's like sober, I think.
Is he? That's good.
I think he's got another show coming out. So
What-
he's able to like make fun of himself.
Having
you know how
seen-
Steve-O kind of grew up,
Yeah.
and Steve-O
Yeah.
makes fun of how he used to be.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin's kind of the same way right
You know-
now. He's able to like make fun of like, oh fuck, I was.
You know,
fucked up.
Steve-O lives up in like Temecula or something.
Does he? I could see that.
Which I guess is not a big deal, not a big surprise, because I think all the like Tony Hawk lives in Carlsbad. You know, it's like Southern California skate
Yeah.
culture, that whole vibe.
Ryan Sheckler lives up in San Clemente,
Yeah,
or he grew up there.
yeah, huh. But yeah, man, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna watch it. But people are saying it's pretty bad.
It just is weird to me. I'm like, I don't know. Like, is the chain of events this year? Like, are we just making it as a joke, or is this is fucking weird? Why have so many weird things happened?
2020, man, the year that was supposed to be great.
Like, it started with like the wildfires.
Yeah, Australia burned down.
You know,
Remember all
like-
those? Remember like 10 billion animals or some shit was lost in Australia? Forgot about that.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Like we just forgot about all the koalas that are like now on the endangered species list.
oh, are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they got put on the endangered species list
Dude,
because
they
of
had
all
to
of them that got
fucked
killed.
up. That's so sad.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
yeah. Apparently they carry syphilis or some shit or
I think
gonorrhea.
I think they're more. They can be aggressive, like not nice.
Do you ever see them at the zoo?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, look at them hanging up there in that tree.
Yeah.
They got the walkway like up high
Yeah.
so you can see them in the tree.
Koalas actually are super fucking cool.
Yeah, like dude, come here, let him hang off my arm.
Yeah, let them chill.
Yeah, I don't know if I could own a wild animal like that though.
I think it's crazy with people own like lions and shit.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Do you know that chick from the Lion King show or whatever that's called?
Why is she on Dances with... Is that
Dude,
where
you
you're
want that? Jay is right there. No, she's getting her own TV show now.
Carol Baskin?
Carol
But
Baskin's
doesn't
getting her own
everyone
TV
hate her?
show now, apparently.
I thought everyone hated
But
her.
you know everyone's going to watch the show.
Why would... Like, she's on...
Because everyone's
Dances-
gonna watch the show.
She's on Dance with the Stars or whatever. I saw a commercial
She's on
for
that.
it. Why?
I don't know, man. Because America.
Yeah, but why are people interested in seeing what Carol Baskin
Because
is
America.
doing?
Because the Kardashians are giving up their show. They're like, what are we going to watch now? Carol fucking Baskins.
Fucking crazy.
I bet, what's his name? Joe, what's his name? I forget, man.
Who?
The lion guy.
Oh, I've only seen half of it. I couldn't.
Oh, you
finish it.
never
I didn't
watched
think
the
it was
whole
that
thing?
good.
Oh.
I didn't think it was bad, but I'm like, no, I'm not really that.
It just, every episode, it got weirder and weirder, and it was like, what? Like, this is a thing? Like, what? And then, yeah, when they talked about murdering, her murdering her husband and all that came out, that was weird.
Why?
So if you're not watching that, what are you watching? You're not watching fucking Back to the Future yet.
Oh.
I cannot believe you haven't
Hang
seen
on.
Back to the Future.
So I watched the season of Space Force.
Did you like it?
I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah?
It's
I don't know.
Did
I heard
you
it was
watch
bad.
it?
I heard it was bad.
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought if you could respect what they were like, so the whole time, anytime they bring up the president, they just bring up the word POTUS. They're like, hey, POTUS called. But you could tell that they're making fun of Donald Trump, which I'm a Trump supporter, but I can respect humor. Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, the POTUS is, he says something wild off the wall that, like, you could totally see Donald Trump just saying, like, something stupid, right?
Yeah.
And they portray him as, like, this big dummy. You know how sometimes they portray Bush as, like, the big-eared, like, cartoon Bush, like, the dumb.
Yeah.
That's how they portray him. And it's funny as shit. That part's funny. The whole sense behind it, I thought was decent.
Exotic Joe, thank you.
Yeah, that's his name. Fucking Exotic Joe.
Thank you for the comments. See? Thank you for the comments. Make sure you subscribe as well. If you're out there, subscribe.
Maybe I should watch it.
Sure.
I don't know. I remember I got halfway through and I was like, no, this is...
So anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. Space Force.
Oh. I think you should give it a go. It's
I'll
only
give it a
first
look,
season.
man.
You might want to wait. The boys are back out, though, but I'm going to wait a little bit.
I watched like 5 minutes of that with my kid, and I'm like, whoa, he probably
boys?
should be watching this.
The
yeah.
boys?
Yeah. And I was like,
yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I was like, I'll watch this later, and I never watched it again.
I don't know. No, he could probably watch that. He plays video games like violence and shit.
Yeah, maybe.
The Boys is funny. Honestly, when I saw the first season of The Boys, I'm like, this is one of my favorite shows I've watched because it's so different.
Really?
It's such a spin-off of what... It's not that the content is like amazing quality, you know? It's not that in-depth, but how they spin off these superheroes that everyone's like, yeah, but they're actually like doing dirty deals and shitty, and like one of the superheroes can run really fast. And in the beginning, that's what happens. The superheroes run really, really fast, and he splits this guy's girlfriend in half.
I gotta see it.
So like there's like bad parts to being a superhero basically, and they spin it all off, and it's pretty fucking neat. You should watch it.
What else are you watching?
Been doing a lot of Nat Geo lately.
Yeah.
Man, what else have I watched? Oh, I'm crushing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia again.
Classic.
Pretty much every day.
You know, I have never seen all of those, but I've seen the first few seasons. Those are classic. But that's not a show. That's not a show that you sit down and watch like
through the whole thing.
It's not like a show that has like an extended storyline.
Yeah, you could just
you can sit down and watch a single episode and be like, "Huh, it was funny," and then walk away.
Yeah,
it's like Family Guy.
Each one starts with a different like D gets stuck in the wall, you know, like something stupid like that, and then the whole thing's play off of that.
Yeah,
I love how Frank who was like brought in. So what happened was he watched the first episode. You know, the first episode, or the first couple episodes. What's his name in real life? Why do I not know?
I have no idea.
Short.
Danny DeVito. Danny
DeVito watched the first couple episodes of It's Always Sunny and called him and was like, "Hey, dude, I got to be on your show." Like,
I honestly thought it was better without Danny DeVito.
What?
But I thought he brought it a little over the top too much. Like, I thought it was funny before that. I still think it's funny with him.
I love it.
But I thought it was better before him. I thought he took it too far. Like, he made it a little bit too crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, before it was kind of believable. It was kind of like, okay.
Believable.
I mean, I don't know, man. Not believable, but you know what I don't know. I just thought he was too much for it, in my own opinion. And I like Danny DeVito. I think Danny DeVito's funny.
I love the way him and Charlie fit together perfectly.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because how would they have all these things, do all these things without Frank's money? Frank's money is what drives all the stupid things that they do. Because their bar is a failure.
Yeah.
So that's their only source of income is Frank pays for everything for the bar.
Yeah.
And Charlie's such a fucking weirdo.
It is a good show. You know, a show I started watching and I couldn't finish, but I watched a bunch of episodes was Dexter.
Oh, super good. One of my first series I ever got into.
But I can't finish it, man. I just don't. It doesn't keep my interest that much to like finish it.
I watched it on Ship, so it was like, and I watched it before the last season came out. So we watched it on Ship, and then the last season came out. So we were already like ready for this new season to drop. And the ending was crazy. The ending was kind of not shitty, but you're like, what? Like, come on.
I watched. That's how it was when I saw Homeland. I haven't seen the newest season of that, but I watched that on deployment, and then I went like 2 years without seeing it, and then I think I started watching it again on the Mew or something like that.
Yeah, we watched on the Mew. I'm the only one that finished it out of the group, though. Everybody else kind of lost. I think I'm the only one who saw like the last like episode or two or whatever it was.
We had a group of us when we were in Sangin. Every night we would make some kind of food. Usually our major would make like some kind of pasta, and not everybody did this. It was actually mostly officers and then like me. And then they would make like pasta or whatever, and then we would sit down because we had outside of where we lived, outside of the HESCO bunker that we lived in, the team that was there before us, I don't know, hooked it up somehow with the MW, like made friends with like the MWR people at the main base back at Camp Leatherneck, and got like a 40-inch TV and a Xbox and a sound system. And when we would, at night, we would watch shows, and we watched Homeland, we watched Sons of Anarchy. You know, we would all just come out, and that was like a cool thing we did. And that was, you know.
Sons of Anarchy was super good.
Sons of Anarchy was cool for like the first. I watched the entire thing, and honestly, I was looking for it the other day for somewhere to watch it again. I was like, what is this streaming? It's not on Netflix anymore. But it's crazy after like the third season. It's like, okay. Dude, these dudes can't walk down the street and get a carton of milk without fucking, get into a gunfight.
Yeah, but I liked how
it's so ridiculous.
They kept the storyline going, and then Gemma came on, right? She was a big part of it. I thought that was crazy with his mom, and I thought the ending was like pretty like pretty
Yeah,
good.
I like the ending. I thought the ending was
and
cool.
there's a bunch of like twists and turns, and I remember we looked up afterwards that were like, "Oh shit, that's what that's from." Like,
I would watch it again. just because I think it's
so-
entertaining.
It's long though.
But it's
You should watch Game of Thrones.
After like I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've seen one episode with that dragon chick, and
should
that's
watch
that's
it.
the only episode I've ever seen.
It's pretty hard to. You have to pay attention though. There's a lot of characters.
My problem is I'm addicted to my phone because of like the show, that talks about all the things they've done to me. They've addicted me to my phone, so I'm going to sue them and tell them they need.
That's where we started.
We should all sue them. But no, I'm addicted to my phone, so I can only watch short stuff, or I get on my phone, man, or I get a notification, and I'm always trying to check my shit. So
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I think my phone is probably one of the only things I'm like truly addicted. I am addicted to my phone.
Everybody is.
It's so much fun. Like people who say they aren't, people who say it's like, dude, if I'm ever bored, all I have to do is just pick this thing up, and I'm no longer bored.
But I also tell people, like, do you remember before phones, like before smartphones?
Yeah.
You were just bored hanging out with people all the time, which is cool. I like hanging out with people. But when I'm sitting here and no one's here, I don't want to read a book or listen to the radio.
Nerd.
It's kind of nice opening up Instagram and like, oh shit, I wish I was that cool.
Just perusing. Yeah.
And then being sad about my own life. Isn't that what it's about?
Pretty much.
Not really.
That's
I get out. I like to get out and do stuff.
Yeah. Social media is weird, man. I deleted Facebook for a couple weeks at a time. I get it back. A couple weeks, I'll delete it again. Not delete it, but I'll make it to where I can't log in the app. Usually I'll do like 7 days at a time. So or
if
5
it wasn't
days, 10 days, or
if it wasn't for all the guys I knew from the Marines, I would probably delete it. Just because it's like it's toxic, man.
Though.
I know, but it's toxic. I mean, I leave it. I keep it. I don't know. I'm that person that gets into the comments and I read all the news articles and shit like that. I'm that guy.
My life was substantially, recognizably less stressful. Like less.
Yeah, I do recognize now. I go, man, I'm getting stressed out about something that's fucking stupid, and I put my phone down and go do something else. You have to like come to terms with your own psyche about something like that.
Not less. Okay, so it's less stressful about the stuff I didn't even know I should be stressed about.
Yeah,
it's like when I'm not on Facebook, I don't hear about all this stupid ass shit that. If I know or if I don't know, it's not going to make any fucking difference.
It's like that meme I posted the other day where that dude, Duncan Trussell, was like, there's some poor bastard out there by a waterfall that doesn't have his phone, that doesn't know how mad he's supposed to be and how scared he's supposed to be.
I think I reposted that.
Yeah, because that's 100% true, too.
Yeah.
Because people, you don't know. I remember back in the day, I didn't even, dude, honestly, 100% when the World Trade Center got hit by a plane, I was like, what the fuck's the World Trade Center? I didn't even know what that was. Because I didn't have a phone. There was like...
It's wild that... So, like, whenever I go to the beach, go see the sunset, I'll make sure I want to get a video of it, like, just a quick picture or something to remember from. But then I try not to be on my phone at all. Because I'm like, this is why I'm here. The whole reason I'm here is to watch this thing set. And you're on your phone, you're trying to take a video, you're trying to upload it right, and you're writing something, and I'm like, I'll just put it in my pocket and I'll wait till the end. Because sometimes I forget, like, dude, why the fuck? This is the whole reason I came down here was to get off my phone and watch this.
Dude, being at the beach for a sunset is probably one of the greatest things ever.
Really fun.
Just fucking chilling out.
Lacey
nice
and
vibe.
I went like 2 weeks ago to Ocean Beach, set up like a towel. Like, remember Ocean Beach where we go to those two, like, not lagoons, like...
I've never been
coves.
with you.
So Ocean Beach has one of my like favorite sunsets, like, in the world. It's crazy. The way this cove sits, there's stairs that go down to it. It's almost like you're lower than the ocean because everything else is like you're in a cove. So this is all rock area here. So you're kind of tucked in lower almost, you feel like, than the ocean. So in the sunset's like right...
Yeah.
Almost like, not eye level, but you can walk along these rocks on the beach. We set up like a towel there, or we had a couple blankets and got some food and shit down the street and just ate food at the sunset in Ocean Beach. And I could just do that whenever I want.
Yeah, for sure.
It's wild to me. But then you have those country sunsets, like the cornfield sunsets that are...
It's not the same. They all have their own like positive like spin, but man, being at the beach is... Going to the beach for a sunset, I just don't get people that can drive down Coastal Highway and not be looking at the ocean the whole time. When there's especially when there's a sunset.
Yeah.
People are on their phones rather than looking out and like watching something that millions of people wish they were, there for.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine the people all across the country. If you're like, hey, tonight I'll fly you out to San Diego to watch a sunset from the beach. They'd be like, fuck yes.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, whatever, just another one of those fucking things. My phone. What's on Snapchat?
This is another one of those. Then you're on Snapchat looking at other people's sunsets.
Yeah, like, oh, look at the sunset he saw.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's the same one weekend I saw.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking idiot.
I'm all about it. Dude, I always forget, like, I just had this talk with somebody the other night. I'm like, in my mind, to me, if I move out of San Diego, I am no matter where I move to in America, I'm taking a hit. Like, in like my location. This is the best location.
It's never gonna be as cool.
Never Pacific Beach, San Diego, California. To me, is the best town you can live in the best location. Between weather, food, location.
Pacific Beach?
Yeah, dude, it's perfect.
You're saying better than La Jolla?
I think so, 100%. La Jolla is too preppy. There's no boardwalk. I mean, there's a boardwalk, but there's no like PB. Everyone in PB's happy. Everyone there is pretty much happy.
It's because PB's a party town.
I'm talking about like during the day.
Even during the day, it's a party town. Well, maybe not during the week.
I'm not talking about the party aspect of it. I'm talking about like it's so chill there, and you can.
It's like an Oceanside, but with like a lot of nice stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not La Jolla where it's so fancy to where it's like fuck. I can't even wear like.
I gotta wear a jacket to dinner. Fuck.
La Jolla, you really can't get down right on the beach, like where the strip of the the bars.
Yeah, there's a lot of cliffs.
All super good food right there, and PB like the water bar where they have the huge windows and they have like the lobster sandwiches and shit in there. Sitting in there watching the sunset and it's 75 degrees out.
Yeah. It
doesn't get to me, so it's like if I move from here, I just have to accept that the weather and the location isn't going to be as good. 100%. As long as I can get over that.
I would rather live next to a lake than the ocean, I think, now. Thoughts? Lake or ocean?
That would mean I'd have to leave San Diego. So I'm thinking it's a downfall. Because then that lake's probably going to be frozen at some point in the year, which means it's winter.
Not if you get one in the south.
Then you're dealing with humidity and bugs.
Yeah, humidity's a bitch. There's no bugs because there's no grass.
The lake.
How could there be bugs if there's no vegetation?
Lake, and I do agree. Lakes are fucking awesome. I'm talking like if you're talking about water sport wise, I'd rather be on a lake than the ocean, 100%. Because there's more. It's just funner.
You can just jump in the middle of a lake and just like, all right, I'm swimming around. Yeah. I don't know if there's any sharks in here.
Yeah,
you know.
So like that kind of stuff, 100%. I like the lakes way better. But the location wise, usually it means it's buggy, it's humid. You have winters, like the bigger picture sucks. But
some people like the changing of the. Some people like the changing.
And I miss it of the seasons.
Yeah, seasons.
I love winter. Like growing up, I loved winter. It used to be my favorite season.
I like the fact that if I want snow, I'll just drive up to it.
Exactly.
Up to the mountain. I don't want to be in it.
The options you have here, you could be in the mountains, you can be in the desert, you could be in snow, the beach. There's
all on the same day.
It's very hard to get like really actually bored in San Diego. You know where there's like physically like nothing to do. Like. Illinois, where I grew up, there's times where there's like...
I never understood the people that sat in the barracks like, there's nothing to do. Like, dude, you're in fucking San Diego. Like, one of the top vacation places in the country. And you're telling me there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Dude, get your buddies together. Go out to, not San Clemente Island, but the other one. The, Catalina. Yeah. Catalina Island. Get some buddies and go out there. Oh, you don't want to do that? Well, grab some guns and go out to the desert and go shooting. Because you can just go out to BLM land and go shoot. Go do that. Oh, you don't want to do that? Go down to a baseball game at the Padres game. Oh, you don't want to do that? Go surfing. Oh, you don't want to do that?
Go snowboarding.
You know what I hate about San Diego is all the fucking bikers. Like, no offense if you're a road biker out there, but sometimes they get in the way. Not as bad lately. It seemed worse in Oceanside, actually, than it is down here.
Fuck, remember? Because we lived on base.
Oh, man. On base, you'd be on your way to work out the Flores, and there'd be like a flock of fucking, like a huge group, like 100 people in the road. You're like, what are you doing? I wanted to be behind
him with that sign that says bikers had to ride in line one at a time. And fucking whack them with it.
Yeah.
Then we get shut down. Anyway, fuck bikers.
Anyway, so hey, we got a question. Trump, Biden, and Joe Rogan thoughts. Did you see that where... It was Tim Kennedy. So for background, for people that may not know what we're talking about, Tim Kennedy went on Joe Rogan's podcast and was like, "Hey, you should host Trump and Biden for a 4-hour interview." And he said he would, and it was probably in jest, obviously. And Trump heard it and was like, "Oh, I would totally do it." And then now, obviously, Biden hasn't. So
I think that multiple things. I think it would be good because it'd be good and bad because Joe Rogan isn't like an extreme Trump supporter.
He's very... Before he said he would never interview Trump.
Yeah.
I've heard him say that. He was very anti-Trump before.
But I feel like he's slow... And now he moved to Texas. I feel like he's slowly... The more I watch of him, the more I'm like, I think he's starting to side a little bit more with him, I would say. And to where he doesn't just hate him now. Now he's just kind of biased to him, I think. Like, But this would be perfect because Joe Rogan... There's no like, well, he's right-wing asking right-wing questions. Joe Rogan's very open, so he's going to ask.
I mean, he had Bernie Sanders on his podcast.
Hopefully, he's going to ask open, like he wants to seriously know. These aren't the questions that you get asked that like there's no real answer to, and there's no.
I think he would take it seriously.
So, but I don't think that there's any way possible that Biden's going to go.
No way, not for 4 hours, especially.
There's just no way.
I mean, that'd be cool even if they got him for 2 hours.
Cool if they got him for an hour,
just to be able to like, hey man, I want to hear like detail, like, give me some information. And he's not a genius and he's not a super political guy, but I think he knows enough to like be able to ask some pretty interesting questions that other people may not think about and be like, hey, I'm forcing you to say, give me a detailed answer. We have time.
I think that it wouldn't. I don't know if he would be good for Trump or not. Because I hope he would drop the, how he's just a dummy sometimes. Like he acts like. I hope that he would drop all that and be like serious.
I can't imagine Biden would ever do it though, as much as Joe Rogan has talked about how Biden's like mental decline is.
And dude, it's serious. I look at that man and I'm like, did you see the video the other day where they're like, and Joe Biden clapping, he's at like a Mexican.
Oh my God.
He comes out way super fucking late and then on his phone plays
Despacito.
Dude, what? I swear to Christ, I had to watch a couple times and I thought I was like, this has got to be an SNL, like a skit.
Oh, I saw that on.
There's no way that he
I couldn't believe that either.
It's not like that I hate him, right? I don't agree with anything he's doing. I think he's a liar. I think he's whatever. But as a human, you're not fit to make decisions like you're seriously not fit for.
You thought that was a funny thing to do or a smart thing to do, and then Trump does the Trump thing like an idiot and posted it on Twitter, but the audio was changed and it was "fuck the police" as the song. And Trump, the president of the United States, put that on Twitter. Reposted someone else that had put the "fuck the police" song over it. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. If he didn't do stupid shit like that, then more people would be like, you know what, Trump's not that bad. But he does so much childish or dumb shit on Twitter. It's like, come on, man, we're expecting a grown up to be fucking take care of this.
But I would say that I think that more people are coming around to him. I think the more people I didn't think were coming around are coming around. I'm like, okay.
Well, I don't know if it's that people are coming around to him or that they're now rejecting all the violence and the rioting and that we've seen. And, it's become such a talking point that even all the main Democrats are coming out and being like, look, we're only here for the peaceful people. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What about all those bail funds you guys set up? Kamala Harris has a bail fund in her name. There was a picture of her website where she had a website link to go pay for people's bail. What are you talking about? And now they're saying, and I don't know, obviously Republicans are going to jump on this and just wait for that one person that got bailed out to do something extremely wrong. And they found that person who is some guy that got out and raped someone. That was one of the people that bailed out with her fund.
Her fund?
Yeah, and that's so they've been putting that on the news.
I wonder if she could be held legally.
But it's like one of those things like, dude, people have been watching this for months. You guys have been basically encouraging. You had Maxine Waters over there months ago, last year, at the end of last year, if you see them at a restaurant, surround them and tell them they're not welcome here. People are not happy with that. It's all fun and games until it hits their own local neighborhood. And there's been many local neighborhoods that have been hit now that people are like, this isn't what I thought it'd be like.
No shit. And that
Chicago's mayor raised all the bridges. You can't even come in the city anymore. She literally raised all the bridges, kicked everyone out and raised the bridges so people couldn't come in the city center.
She made it. So the protesters came down her block to her house. Yeah. So then she made it like a big deal. And beforehand, she was all about it. And everyone's like, fuck you. Oh, no, that's like at your place, and now you're upset about it.
That's like the mayor of, I think, Portland is moving from his apartment building that he lives in because people have been rioting in front of his apartment building. And it's like, instead of enabling your police officers to take care of this issue that you obviously see as an issue because you're moving as to not disturb your neighbors, why don't you do something about it? You're the fucking mayor, dude. Enable your police to fuck. Part of it is if you look at, and people have labeled Andy Ngo as a super right-wing person, as a super right-wing journalist, and I would have to someone send me some information. If you're out there and I'm not seeing something, send it to me because I follow his Twitter page and people are like, he's a Proud Boy, he's a white supremacist. I'll put it out there. He's an Asian gay dude. I'm just saying. But he, on his Twitter page, all he posts is raw videos from protest and mugshot photos from people in Portland because that's where he's at. He's been following Antifa for a while. and it shows so-and-so arrested for felony rioting, released without bail. So-and-so arrested for arson and felony rioting, released with no bail. And it's in Seattle, they get released with no bail. So they get arrested, they get a mugshot, and then they get released. And then they go out the next night and they do it again.
Holy shit.
So, and then it's like, dude, take care of your fucking city, man. Like, I can't imagine people are going to stay in that area. Like, it's just crazy.
What do you think is going to happen if Donald Trump wins?
More riots, more fighting. Dude, spark up that J.
Where's that?
It's right there on the other side of your Cheetos bag.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Nah, it's got to be more fighting, man. It sucks. It's like people can't be just... I mean, he got sent poison today. You know, he got sent ricin. And for those out there that would send the president poison, like, okay, dude, you think he just opens his mail? Like, he walks out to the mailbox, is like, oh, I got a letter.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's not even open at the White House. It's like open somewhere else and they bring it to him. You remember Monk? Monk used to work at the Pentagon. And, you know, they do all that shit. That's what the Seaburn guys do, is they have like a clean room where they get all the mail and it goes through all these tests to make sure it doesn't have bombs and all that other shit. And then it gets sent out to whoever it's supposed to go to.
That's just
So, like, why would you think that's a good idea?
Trying to break into the Pentagon, right? People are like trying to rush the I'm like...
The Pentagon?
Not the Pentagon, the White House, I meant.
Oh.
Like the fence around, and people trying to jump over it.
You're
I'm
just
like,
asking.
you really think that you can just jump over the fence and run all the way straight to Donald Trump's room?
Well, a couple of years ago, I think it was when Obama was in office, someone jumped the fence and got in that White House, opened the door, and then there was I think they said there was a female security guard right inside the door that was like, "What the fuck?" And he overpowered her or something like that. Something happened. It stopped right there though, but like. He got across the lawn and literally opened the door and went into the White House before they stopped him.
Okay, I take all that back then. Jesus Christ.
That was years ago. So I'm sure shit's changed. But it's one of those, like, you become complacent. I'm guarding the White House. Every day it's like, okay. You know, it's got to get old after a while.
He's on his phone as the guy's running across the yard.
Someone get it on TikTok. You know what's crazy about TikTok? And I don't understand why TikTok and Reels... This Reels thing. Here, use this can. This Reels thing on Instagram now. We're putting music on these videos. But before on Instagram, if you had music on your video, it would get taken down and you would get a strike for having copyrighted content. But now, suddenly it's okay to like put all the music on these videos? Do you know anything about that, or like why is that a thing?
So when you get the music off of to put it on TikTok, it comes from, like, you know, on Instagram, you want to put music on it.
Yeah.
You go to the little music bar, search for the song, put the song in there. I bet that that's somehow copyrighted or
paid for by them.
That it's coming out of the... Because if I try to transfer a video on YouTube, or sorry, if I take a video on iTunes, put music on it, if I take a video on Instagram, put music on it, save it, and try to upload it to Snapchat, it'll tell me that it's not going to bring the audio with.
Really?
It won't bring, not the audio, it won't bring the music with.
Huh.
So I bet it's paid. Something's paid for on Instagram that they own rights to probably, and then when it tries it won't let you save it because maybe Snapchat doesn't have those
Maybe they have like publishers' rights, you know, where they pay a fee every year.
Yeah, to like the producer, to whoever the label is or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah. But that gets paid off because then the advertisers, you know, that were the product, remember? Social dilemma. I mean, I guess... I take it for granted the amount of stuff that we know because of all the IA training and shit that we've had over the years. It becomes like, you become numb to it and just like, whatever. I guess the average person doesn't realize the amount of like electronic intrusion that not just like China and shit like that has, but like companies, like corporations has. Oh. So if you haven't seen Social Dilemma, I probably would check that show out on Netflix because I also think it paints some stuff in a really bad light. It makes it look the worst it possibly could. Like, look at her. She's not online now. Let's send her a notification. Yeah. It's like, or it could be, let's recommend this because that's what they would buy. Well, yeah. Why would you recommend me something I wouldn't buy? Yeah. Like, what good is that?
I think it's much more computer generated for all that. Like, it's not a person that's like, ready? Let's send hit. It's not like a person's actually watching me on and off my phone. So
that's the dude from Mad Men.
Yeah. They depicted that. Is it
to make it
like
look
you said, in the worst way possible?
Yeah,
but still, that's got a lot of ash on there, Bubs. You're really
there's paper holding on to it. Let's use that glass. I need an ashtray, which is I hate to say that. Like I sound like a gross smoker.
Lacey and I are always like, I was like, damn. When we were outside at the fire, We need an ashtray out here. I'm like, ew. We're not ashtray people. I think of the ones that used to be at the restaurants, like the dark brown, like see-through brown.
The little foil ones? Oh.
Like the yellow-looking, nasty ashtray.
Yeah.
And then they would separate the building in smoking and non-smoking, but I'm like, it's probably fucking coming over here anyway.
Are your parents smokers?
Fuck no. Thank God.
Both of my parents were smokers, man, and my whole family's smokers. So, like, growing up, I remember riding in the car, windows up, mom's smoking with, like, the window cracked just a little bit, you know? And I see it nowadays, and I'm like, that's fucking crazy, man. You're like destroying your kids' lungs before they've even had an opportunity to like go play sports. I'm talking about like young kids and stuff. But like, I don't get that. I don't like being around smoke anymore, like tobacco smoke.
But weed is okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'll hit that again.
Oh, the ash fell off in the thing. It's out.
Yeah, I mean, weed's okay, you know. I guess it's different, right?
Good catch.
Thank you.
Jeez.
That was a first baseman.
That was a good.
All Stars 1995.
I was a first baseman and a pitcher as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a natural pitcher, first baseman kind of deal. Yeah. Do you watch John
Left-handed.
Boy Media? Have you ever heard of that?
No, what is it?
There's this guy on like Instagram, Facebook. He's like on all the social pages, but he breaks down these baseball plays. But he's funny. He's like funny, but he knows so much about baseball.
Wait, are you talking about the guy that's like, holy fuck? The guy who's always like...
he does like voiceovers and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So anyway, hilarious. If you like baseball, I don't know if you're into baseball anymore.
Man,
Were you just as a kid?
I was as a kid, like I played in high school and stuff, but I just don't really. The only sport I'll watch is if the Blackhawks make it into say like the finals or something. They make it. I don't know. In the playoffs.
So you're like me.
I'll watch it at the playoffs.
So you're like me. You're a casual observer. Like you'll watch it, but you don't really care to follow it.
I don't have the attentions. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the attention span or I've just growing up. I was never into watching or like knowing things about basketball.
Do you have your teams even if you don't follow them?
Like the draft.
Well, I guess the Blackhawks.
Like the I don't follow any of that shit, dude. Nothing, zero.
No, I don't get people that dedicate a day to watch the draft.
Sometimes I feel weird too. Sometimes I'm like, why am I not? Why am I the one guy, the guy that doesn't?
You have to be really into sports to be in all. Do you do any fantasy leagues?
None, nothing.
Yeah, me
Zero.
neither. My dad used to do like 3 fantasy football leagues, 2 baseball leagues. He'd have a golf fantasy team. Like he's into all of that, man. I don't get it.
I think it would be fun, but I'm also like not really that big into video games. I mean, I like them. I played Xbox 360.
Well, the fantasy league's not even video games.
I'm saying as far as like the point of a sport, you being into a sport is like it's your sport, right? It's like your team. You're devoted to that team, like on an emotional level. Like,
yeah. You're not a hardcore fan for
it's
anybody.
Cool, like and it's cool like a fantasy football league. It's literally what it is. It's like being a kid, but you're getting to you think that guy's the best, so you create your own fantasy team, which. People that like sports love that shit. And I just sometimes I'm like, why don't I...
You have to be a heavy stat guy.
Yeah. Like
you got to be into the stats.
Joey, Corey, a lot of the guys that point next to those guys that I'm always talking to, I grew up with them in ANGLICO, they're super into sports. Like super into sports. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Something about it just isn't that appealing.
I'm a casual observer. I'll watch. I like the Braves. Hockey. The Braves are my baseball team just because I grew up in Tennessee, so the Braves were on TBS constantly. I don't know. TBS was a national channel, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys have TBS?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had TBS. So we'd watch the Braves all the time because it was, Chattanooga is like an hour and a half, I think, from Atlanta or something like that. I don't remember. And then growing up, I watched Peyton Manning play at Tennessee when he was a college player. And then when I moved to Indiana, it's the same year he got drafted by the Colts. So I actually watched him go through the college years into the NFL. And then I stopped watching football in 2007 after the Colts won the Super Bowl that year. Because I just finished MLS school. And it was like, I didn't have time. PFC Kramer did not have time to... I just didn't get into that.
I just want like everybody calls them like bandwagon fans, which totally have seen them. But everybody should be stoked like when you're home, like when the Blackhawks win 3 Stanley Cups in 5 years or 6 years, whatever. I was watching them a lot because I'm like, this is cool as fuck. I want to be part of this. Just because I'm cheering them on doesn't mean that I'm a Oh,
I mean, it does mean you're a bandwagon fan, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
That's what I'm. Yeah. I totally get. I am bandwagoning for sure. But why? I'm just here to support the team.
You're not as much of a fan as me, man.
Yeah, I guess it's because we weren't there to support them when they weren't doing good. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Here I am now.
When did you start?
Yeah.
Tell me the season and the date. I want to know what the record was when you started. Everybody started at some point. I guess some kids are raised. If you're in like areas like Boston, and they're probably beat into them.
Seriously, Chris.
They're probably beat into them.
Chris used to say that shit all the time. He's like, dude, my family was a fucking Boston family. Dad fucking hit me. That's exactly.
The girls are like, Dad, I like the Raiders. He's like, get mother.
He said, Chris is so crazy that Chris said that when his daughter, because his wife is darker skin. I don't know. I'm not sure what she is. Puerto Rican, I think, maybe Dominican Republic, maybe. But she's she's beautiful. But she's like a super like ethnic, whatever color she is.
Why does that matter?
Because she's like, so his daughter is like this beautiful. Because remember the other day when I'm like half black, half white kids, they're like the cutest kids ever. So his daughter has like nice toned skin. I guess you could say like Beyonce skin. So he's like super scared that some guy is gonna date her.
Oh.
So he's like, what I'm gonna do is when her boyfriend comes over for the very first time, or no, what do you say? What I'm gonna do is the very first time she's old enough to understand like what I'm doing, something about her and her boyfriend coming over, he's gonna throw a chair through the front window of the house to set a tone of like
Dad's insane.
He's gonna get mad at something for nothing. And that is such a Boston thing to have happen.
I'm so glad I have a boy, not a girl.
That's such Boston. Boston's cool.
The challenges of that would be crazy. I've never been to Boston. I'd like to go up there sometime. I've never been to the Northeast.
Time out. Think of being a father, like you were saying, to a daughter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would never want that.
That would be tough.
That would be tough because you know how dudes are, but you also know how girls are too. Let's not pretend and say like just dudes are assholes.
I think just being a girl in general would be tough.
Well, yeah.
Not in general, but I always like with Lacey. Think about having a period every month. That'd be the shittiest thing ever. And it's not one day a month. It's like 4 days before, 4 days after. So you're talking like a week and a half, and then the 3 days you're on or 4 days you're talking like a week and a half out of the month. You have cramps. You're literally bleeding out of your own body. You have to clean it up for a week and a half out of the month.
It's unfortunate.
For like what, 40 years?
That's unfortunate.
Years? That would suck.
Yeah, probably 4. I don't know when menopause starts. Probably 40, 50.
That would suck.
That's the burden, you know?
Yeah.
Dudes have burdens.
But then they also get anything they want because of girls.
I saw a post earlier, it was like, dudes don't realize male privilege. They get so much stuff, blah, blah, blah. And some dude was like, girls don't realize that there's girls out there getting free houses for showing pictures of their butthole. And I'm like, oh my God.
There are also all these girls that they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
There's some girl wearing, what was it? I heard it the other day. She's wearing like a puppy costume. I heard it on BK Actual's news thing. She's wearing like a puppy costume for OnlyFans, and I guess she makes $10,000 a month. Just acting like a puppy, taking pictures and making videos.
That shit.
And putting it on OnlyFans. Is there some dude puppy out there doing that shit? Would you do that though?
Yes.
No, you would not.
For 10?
Dude, you have too much self-esteem to be doing something like that. Are they sexual
or am I just dressed up
I
like
think
a puppy?
they're sexual. I don't know. I don't know.
If they're not sexual, then there's no like. I don't have to be embarrassed because like kids might see it or anything weird like that. It's not the weird factor is kind of taken out of it in the bad weird factor. So if I just gotta look like a dog,
the weird factor is taken out of it. What are you even saying?
So like
as long as it's not sexual, it's totally not weird to be dressed up.
If you were to say to me, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $10,000. Will you dress up like a dog and do sexual acts online for $10,000 a month?" I would say no. But if you were to say, "Will you dress up like a dog and just take pictures and act like an idiot for $10,000 a month?" Fuck yeah. Because on the inside, I'm like, you guys are all so goddamn stupid that you're going to pay me to do this? And I got to do it for what? An hour out of the day?
Yeah,
maybe?
But dude, that shit's forever, man.
So
you are forever the dog dude online.
How many people really watch that girl that's the dog girl?
I don't know.
Online?
We're random people talking about it on a podcast, and now those people listening are going to know about it.
But I think that the percentage of people that would be able to point me out on the side of the road dressed up like a normal human walking down the street is probably so fucking minimal.
How embarrassing would that be, though, if you're walking through like, The dog.
I'd
Hey,
be
buddy.
like, well, what is this? Oh, $10,000 in my pocket of cash because I just carried it around because it's cool.
Yeah.
And I'd slap it in his face and walk away. Well, I mean,
Bear, Hambone says, Bear, be honest now, for $10K.
yeah.
So what Hambone, hit us with the number that you would need. Hamilton,
If
hit
you're
us with the
talking
number that
about-
you would need
and
to
be
be dressed up like a
realistic,
dog.
right? Be realistic. So if I just have to literally, that girl probably gets on cameras and sells those pictures for maybe an hour, a week, 5 hours a week, 3 hours a week, like minimal, like
Yeah, it's minimal work.
80% of your day is normal. 10%.
No part of your day is normal if you're living that life.
Either way, 100% I would do it.
I don't know, man. No, I don't think so.
For $120,000 a year, I can just take 3 hours out of my day to put something down that looks like a dog and just walk around. Yeah, I'd do it.
I mean, I guess if I was trying to get into show business or something like that, maybe. Because that's like your
What
in.
is she
You gotta
putting
have a
on?
weird in.
Like, am I wearing like a costume? And am
Yeah.
I literally just dressed up like a dog, like just sitting there?
Yeah, like the furries kind of thing, I think. I don't know. I haven't actually seen her. I only heard it on the news, man.
I think she just had a collar on and had a blackened nose and ears. And was like in some slutty shorts.
Well, even that, I mean, have a little self-respect.
When I'm flossing in my new mid-engine Corvette,
What?
I don't give a fuck.
Hambone said he would do it for $5,000 a month?
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to do shit.
For 3
man.
pictures a week? No
Hey,
way!
This is why.
This is why people are fucked up today.
This is what I'm talking about because no one's gonna even know about it. Even if they do, what's the fucking? That's like sucking dick. Okay, this is like, would you? I'm at the Super Bowl halftime.
No.
So you are. Listen,
I know
just
where this is
hear me
going.
out. So you are the Super Bowl halftime show. You have to suck a dude's dick at the 50-yard line. You're the halftime show. You have 10 minutes to make him jizz. If he jizzes, you get $40 billion. If he doesn't, you get 0.
I am saying no. I'm a hard no.
$40 billion.
No way, man. I'm not trying that. You gotta have some self-esteem. Did you,
40
Hambone said
billion.
that's easy money. He'll do it.
Easy
Did
fucking
you-
money, baby.
Have you seen that Netflix, have you seen Black Mirror, the first episode? Where that dude has to bang a pig?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what
nuts.
you're talking about.
No, it's not.
Dude, it's the same thing. How could you not be an outcast after that?
No, I don't think it's like that.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I think it'd be a big deal for sure. But I have $40 fucking billion.
Hambone said he's cupping balls, too.
Dude, and that's the thing. You have to be good at it. So you got to kind of practice. You can't go out there for the first time you've ever done it in your whole life and hope you're good enough in 10 minutes to make a dude jizz. What if you go out there and you're garbage?
What if you don't make, yeah.
That's the thing.
Oh, man.
And that's the worst part
How
about it.
bad would it be if you don't get the money and you did all
Oh
that?
my Christ, dude. So you got to be
No
decent.
way. So what are you going to
You
practice?
also get to pick the dude. That's
Oh
the
my,
thing.
who are you picking?
Someone that looks like a chick.
I don't even know any dudes that look like chicks.
I pick like one of those dudes you see like, look at this girl,
Oh my
is she
God.
hot? Oh, that's a dude. And you're like, fuck, man, I thought that dude was hot.
So some hippie dude with long ass hair?
Like
You're just
a
looking at the
tranny.
long ass hair?
You've never seen a picture like on
Oh.
Instagram that's like, do you think this chick's hot? And then you flip to the next one. And
What
it's
if
like,
you
it's a
don't
dude.
get to pick the dude?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as long as the dude's in reasonable, military age male, like not some like 500-pound psychopath.
I'm grabbing some weird dude from the bar. Be like, come on, man.
So it's got to be a normal ass.
Come here, boy.
dude. Yeah, no, I can't be that.
I'm ready for this.
No, because that's I can't. So I think 40. So say someone. This is what I was.
Are you gonna tip him? Like, you just give me $10 billion.
Maybe 40,
I'm full,
40
but I'd
billion.
like to give you.
40 billion. So anyway, I think that if someone was to make fun of me, right? Someone was there's the dick sucker. I would just pay a homeless man to fuck you, and now you just got fucked, and now you're gay for free. So you're like, how cool are you now? Yeah, I'm the gay
You're
guy.
gonna pay a homeless guy to fuck him.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 40.
That's a crime.
I have $40 billion. Do you think $500 matters? Not only that, if you made fun of me, I would just put a lion in your shitty van that you
You're like,
probably
here's
drive.
the deal. You can't make fun of me while I'm on my island.
No, yeah, I would put a large animal in your minivan because you have a shitty normal life. I have $40 billion, and the
You're like,
first
learn to
time
suck dick,
first
dude.
time you ever come out there and something bad happens to you in the morning because you knew I did it, you probably wouldn't do it anymore because you'd be like, fuck, that guy's got $40 billion.
I don't know.
So you make fun of me, then I just get to fuck you up on my island in my helicopter.
That's what's up.
$40 billion.
I think I'm a hard no, my friend.
I'm a hard yeah. Bring it on, dude. Dude.
You're ready for it.
Absolutely.
You're like, I need it.
I think you're not understanding what $40 billion.
Have you seen the economy? Have you seen the economy?
Imagine having $40 billion. What would you do with $40 billion?
What would I do? I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier with Bezos. At that point, you're not even worried about money. You're not even spending the money. Like, you're just doing stuff, and you probably are paying a guy $60,000 a year to walk behind you and pay for it all. He's like carrying a money bag, just like, oh, okay, what did they buy? Okay, here's the money.
How cool would that be?
You're not even like...
So you can truly be yourself. You can do whatever you think that you should do. And
that's why they go crazy.
Seriously. Because
that's why they go crazy.
Some of them that go crazy, I think that it's just like, dude, they get so wrapped up in whatever they're trying to reach in life. Because at that point, you don't have to worry about paying bills or anything. You're just doing whatever your brain, like, you're trying to figure out. I think what I would do, I would try to figure out, like, who I am and, like, why we're here. And, like, I would get so deeply wrapped up in that shit because I think that that's what people do. Because when you've done everything else, you start to fuck with hallucinogenics and you're trying to figure out a different realm because you've already done this realm. Like, this, everything's been, all the cool places that you would love to go, at some point you're going to get to all of them. At some point, like, riding a dune buggy hammered with 15 naked girls is going to be like, this is cool.
You think Dan Bilzerian's tired yet?
No.
I quit following that guy. Or I don't know if I follow him, but I haven't seen anything. I remember following him a couple years ago.
He was the man a couple years ago.
It was like, Dan the Man. There was someone at ANGLICO we'd call Dan the Man. He'd get really pissed about it. I can't remember who, though. But yeah, man.
It'd be wild to be in.
That's the lifestyle you'd probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do. I mean, like with $40 billion, you could literally walk up to a dock and be like, "Give me the
what
biggest
charities
dock."
Are you giving to, Michael? That's what I want to know. What charities are you giving to?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
I hear a lot of good things about the Semper Fi Fund, so maybe I'll give it to them. A lot of people come on the show and talk about them.
Like, so imagine just buying a jet and being like, "All right, cool, I'm going to pay this. Hey, buddy, I'll give you $500,000.
You work for me, homie.
You're going to fly me a couple times just for 6 months. Just hang out with us. $500,000. You could fly somewhere,
and you get a week off a month where you can fly wherever you want. I'll pay for your flight.
You could buy the biggest mansion there, and you could buy any car you want when you got there. With $40 billion,
yeah, you can have anything you want. So what does the guy that has everything? What does he want then?
I think he wants a knowledge on a deeper life. Like, once you've done everything that human society now you're doing, you're trying to figure out why you're even here in the first place. I think you're trying to. I feel like, or you're trying to invent the next thing, like an Elon Musk kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hambone says you can't pay someone to rape someone, Bear. And you would be pretty powerful with $40 billion. You are right. And he said you'd be one of the top 15 richest in the U.S., which is huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and
you got to sign that contract while you're deployed, though, so you get it tax free.
And the thing is that you're not one of the richest men in the world with things to do. You're not the richest man in the world with a company to run. You're literally a dude that just got $40 billion and have no responsibilities. Not a single.
You know what would get annoying? Everyone would come out of the woodwork and be like, "What's up, man? Remember that time I ran into you in 1995?
I got $40 billion. They can't get through my fences that would be surrounding my fucking mansion." Like,
yeah, but I think you'd really find out who your friends are.
But I already know who my friends are.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it wouldn't be all of a sudden like if a new guy pops up, I'd be like, "Yeah, go fuck it." Like, okay.
That's got to be the tough part. What happens when your friends leave and they go do their own thing?
Even at that point, you have $40 billion.
Yeah, but now you feel like you can no longer trust anybody. Are they here because they like you, or are they here because you have the money to do whatever?
I'm an intelligent person. If I can tell if I haven't talked to this guy in forever, or maybe if I do, you're a smart person. You can detect who. And even if they are, you have 40 fucking billions. What am I going to lose? A friendship with a dude that I'm going to fuck off with, and I'm smart enough not to be like, "Here's $1 million, go spend it." You know,
yeah.
Like, as long as you stay conscious, but I think it's easy.
I don't know. I think there's stuff out there we're not considering.
Probably.
Maybe we'll be multimillionaires in a couple of years, and we can talk about this again.
Yeah.
We'll play this again and be like, "We're idiots,
dummies," as we hate each other.
Dummies. You know, Ford can drive my Ferrari 300 miles and I get the oil change. 300 miles.
You know, a Bugatti, you spend like $220 million or no, $20,000 a year in maintenance, I think, or something like that.
Oh my God, really?
The tires on a Bugatti, the hood on a Bugatti, I think is $100,000.
Nick had done a lot of work to his Lamborghini, like.
I saw that.
But he did a lot of his own work to save money.
Yeah.
He found out that a lot of the Lamborghini parts are the same parts as like Audi and shit.
Yeah.
So he would find the right NSN on the Audi part instead of the Lamborghini part. I think he did like an alternator. I think the Lamborghini one was like $3,000 or $5,000, and then the one he bought from the Audi one was like $300.
Damn.
It was like ridiculous, and it was literally the exact same thing with a different, logo on it. How ridiculous is that? Yeah, yeah. He's done a lot of work to his car. It looks real good. His new one, that's pretty wild.
The thing looks fast.
I keep telling him to come on the show. I tell his punk
how
ass.
fast it is, though.
He's taking it on the track. He's actually taking it up to. He had it trailered. I think he had it trailered up to one of those. Not Willow Springs. Maybe it was Willow Springs.
No, it was. That's where I took my bike. It was.
Streets of Willow.
How the fuck do I know? No, you know what? It's not where I took my bike. That's where he went.
Is that where he
I
went?
think it was.
Streets of Willow, and took his car around that.
Like, how fast do you think his car is? Like in the quarter mile. Is it?
It's not as fast.
Like, is it like a?
I think his Jeep was probably faster.
Really?
I think so. In the quarter mile. I mean, I could be wrong. I could hit him up and find out. But he had the Jeep SRT 8, whatever, with like a boosted. I mean, and how fast was it compared to your Hayabusa?
Not that. I mean, it was faster. It was definitely fast for a Jeep. It was fast as fuck.
Dude, the turbo on that thing's like the size of a dinner plate.
How fast do you think that thing goes? Like 0
He
to
did
0 to 180. I bet.
I know in a half mile, standing half mile, he did with the air attack, strip attack or whatever, where they go out to the airfields and do them on those.
Take my bike there.
It was a standing mile. Excuse me. He got up to 168 miles an hour in a Jeep.
No shit.
It's either a half mile or a mile. Yeah.
Oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah. So I think his.
That'd be scary in a Jeep to do that.
Yeah.
They had fat ass tires on that thing though.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he had it all dialed in. He was like, oh, fuck, I just knocked something off. He was like really into the car community and stuff. I mean, he still is, but now he's just into Lamborghini community, which is cool. He has a super nice car. Shot some photos of it. It's been a little while, actually, since I shot any photos of it. Anyway, I was trying to get him on the show. He's a car guy, so I'd like to come on and talk about like these tracks and opportunities that guys could have and stuff like that, because I know you've gone to the track before. What all have you done on your bike?
So I did the 2 bikes that I had. One was like a drag track. So I'd always go down to street legal, but then
which is now closed.
Yeah, and then that wasn't like the real then I went to one of the real tracks in Brago Springs, I think it was, where it's like the sticky track. Like you have to have a full suit. You're in like an actual NHR whatever track.
NHRA, yeah.
So but that's only the 8th mile. There's a quarter mile, I guess. It's up by LA, but it's like, it's not like being back home where those things were everywhere. Like, and
that's the NHRA track. That's Pomona.
Yeah. So but then it's like it's a whole day event. You have to put a kill switch on my bike. You could be there a whole day and you only get 1 to 4 runs in.
For what? How much does that cost?
Man, when I went, I think it was 100. No, I don't know. I went a couple years ago, probably 60.
So you have to like really. You're saying it's cheap?
Oh no! Like you can do it, but it's just like you have to. They make it more of like a drag bike, like mine's street, and like I'll take it anywhere. Mm-hmm. I honestly just need to put a kill switch on it. I think that was it, to be honest. And it's not terribly hard, but then when you go there, you're getting in very minimal runs because everyone's there on the weekends.
Yeah.
So. And it's hard on your bike too, but to only do it that
way, it's real hard.
I would love to keep going,
especially with that sticky ass track.
And it's dangerous.
People don't realize
your boot. Like I said, if you have flip flops, will come right off.
Yeah. I've never been to that track, but I've been to the one in Indianapolis, the Nationals, like the like the World Series of it or whatever you want to call it. And it's weird when the race is over, they let you walk on the track. Like when the Nationals are over, like when they do the last, as soon as they get done with the last race, as soon as they get people off those dudes off the track, you can go down and anyone can walk across the track and walk the whole length of it. And I actually have, I think it's in storage, a blower belt that blew off one of the cars during the race. And John Force, who's like has the most wins in NHRA history for the funny cars, comes driving down the track on a moped with like his granddaughter on his lap and stopped and talked to us. I was out there with my ex-wife and her whole family and stuff. And we're sitting there talking to him. We're like, hey, would you sign this? And signed it. And my kid has it. It's his. And I was like, this is cool, man. Like, there's nothing like seeing. Have you ever been to one of those, the Top Fuel drag racing?
No. I've been to ones like in Byron Racetrack, and they had like the big muscle car. Like, it's that extreme, like you could feel it.
I'm telling you, when they go by, when they would go by, everything would go blurry because my eyeballs were vibrating.
Really?
I swear to God.
Think of the fucking adrenaline.
It's
you have
insane.
driving one of those.
I had just got back from Afghanistan for my singing tour, like not long before I went. And the first one that lit up and did his like burnout or whatever, I was like behind the stands, like getting a beer or something. And it was like, out of nowhere. And I was like, I kind of like jumped down. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, it scared the fuck out of me. And then when you're out there watching it, though, it's crazy. Like, it legitimately vibrated my eyeballs where everything turned blurry.
How fucking sick that would be.
You know, a lot of those guys have eye issues because when they stop, they're stopping so quickly that their retinas separate.
What?
So a lot of the guys that have been doing it for years, the negative G-forces are fucking their eyes up and causing them to go blind.
Ugh.
I was like, what? Like, out of all the issues I was thinking of,
And you can't think, like,
you can't stop the acceleration or the deceleration. Yeah, that's like a major issue.
You can't really close your eyes.
No, because the pressure is pulling it because it's on like a nerve or and it's slowly
Like from the
pulling it
inside.
off of it. Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah. So eventually, a lot of or some of those guys can go blind. Yeah. So. All right, man. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. You got anything you want to say here at the end?
No.
Anybody got anything before we're done with? Hambone asked if the wife would be okay if you made 70 billion or 30, whatever it was.
Dude, she would have. Guess what? She wouldn't be mad with her Louis Vuitton fucking bag and her goddamn Lamborghini that she'd be. I'm sure she wouldn't be too.
She'd be like, "Hey, Dick Sucker, get over here!"
Yeah. I don't know. And realistically, maybe. But
What if she wasn't? What if she wasn't? But they're like, "Hey, the opportunity's still here."
If she wasn't mad,
Yeah. Or no. I'm not saying. What if she wasn't down with it?
I'm doing it.
Sorry.
Deuces. $40 billion with zero responsibility. Not a single thing do I have to do, and I have 40 fucking billion.
Yeah.
That means I can have my whole entourage. If right now I wanted to be like, damn, I want to get Ski, Rango all together real quick, I could literally make a phone call to my assistant and tell him, and in 24 hours, all my friends would be here. You know,
If they decide to come.
They decide to come. Hey, dude, I'll give you 10 grand. You want
But
to
I would guess a lot of them would.
I'm going to give each of you guys 50 grand, and we're going to go to Hong Kong tonight and blow it. You ready?
Oh my God.
I'm guessing
dude.
everybody would be like, fuck yeah.
Hong Kong.
And you get to keep whatever you don't blow. Like, and that's not me being douchey, being like, and they're like, fuck this guy. That's me being like, dude, for real, help me spend this money. This is fucking going to be awesome.
Have you ever seen Brewster's Millions? It's I think it came out in the 80s. It's an old Richard Pryor movie, and John Candy. He's like a shitty double-A league baseball player, never going to make it to the majors or whatever. And it's Richard Pryor, but he has a rich white uncle for some reason. I can't remember why. He was like a rich like oil guy that he had never met, and he died. And he was like, "Hey, look, you're a piece of shit. Like, you're worthless, but I have to give this money to someone. You're like my only relative left. I think it was $1 million. You know, this is the 80s. I think it was like $1 million, and they're like, you have 30 days to spend. Maybe it was like $10 million. You have 30 days to spend $10 million, and if you did that, then you got the $100 million. And the whole point was you'd get so tired of buying shit and the fake people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that you're just like, I don't even like money anymore.
It could get to that for sure, but I don't see that in my head, so I'm like, fuck it.
Good movie, classic movie. If you've never seen it, Richard Pryor is classic. So. All right, man. Hey, for the people out there, thanks again. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe. It only takes a second. You're helping me out. You're helping the show out. If you're listening, you're not watching this live, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. You'll get these notifications. I didn't even send anything out. We planned this. We didn't plan to do it live. We just did it randomly, so I'm glad it worked out. And check out my website, jkramergraphics.com. Hit me up on Instagram, former action guys on Instagram, at jkramergraphics on Instagram. And then at fairbear_89 on Instagram. Those are all up on the video. You can see those if you're listening. Make sure to subscribe and hit us up and be in on the next live broadcast. All right.